All right, awesome. We should be live. What's going on, Super Comic Book family? Ready for episode 3 of Super Comic Book Bros? Today we have an awesome episode. We're going to answer the question, are we quitting Kickstarter? And to help us answer that question, we have an awesome guest. But first, we have our co-host, the resident Luigi. Stokes, what do you have to say to the people?
Luigi in name only. What's up, man? I'm really excited. We have a very special guest, and we might be leaving Kickstarter. Let's see. Let's stick around to find out. That's what you call a plug, little bro.
Right. Yeah, we have David here from Crowdfunder. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be in your third episode. So thanks for inviting me.
Today you are the Wario, or are you the Waluigi, or are you the Toad? Which Mario character?
I don't know. I might end up being the mushroom. We'll see what happens, right?
Oh, you're gonna level us up? All right. I mean, definitely, definitely. So how's everybody doing today? How's everyone's beginning of 2023 going? Stokes, do you have any New Year's resolutions that you want to share with the family?
I really don't do the whole new resolution thing. Like let me say this. I'm trying to lose weight. I'll say that. But I try to be on my what is it, P's and Q's all the time. You know what I'm saying? I try to be like hitting new goals all the time. So I guess let me say what I want to happen personally. I won't say resolution, but I want to hit 500 subs on this channel this year. I want to have a campaign hit 7,500. Remains to be seen on what platform. And then, I just want to get these series off, so it's nothing, nothing too crazy. And then probably, let's say, lose like 20 pounds.
Okay. David, how about yourself? What are your New Year's resolutions?
First off, I would say, Stokes, you can do it, man. You can lose the 20 pounds. That was my New Year's resolution last year, and I actually ended up losing 40. So I believe in you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Claps.
Yep. And then as far as New Year's resolutions go, so, COVID kind of, I feel like it made me get really comfortable with isolation and not seeing people, not being around people and stuff, to the point where now where things are, more open and you can get out there. I'm not doing it. Like I'm home a lot, and I'm not getting out there and connecting with people in the real world. So this year, the resolution is to get back to, socializing, being in the real world, spending time with people,
Definitely. We'll exit the ISO and let you rejoin society here. It's funny to make you the center of attention as you talk about isolation, but I think that's a great goal, David. And I actually have a similar goal. I want to go outside more. I spent a lot of 2022 and 2021 and 2020 and 2019 inside. So we've been inside for a minute, and definitely want to be getting out there and living some more life. But also, I want to do way more writing. I want to get some more work out there. I want to run a bunch of Kickstarters. And I agree, Stokes. I'm more of a person that likes to have my resolution ready beforehand. I'm already starting my resolution in November. In October, I'm already thinking about, all right, 2023, 2024, how we're gonna level up and get to that next spot that we want to get to. So I definitely appreciate your outlook, Stokes, and you can definitely lose that 20 pounds, bro.
I'm about to do ketos pretty soon here, so it's gonna happen. It's funny because I think it's interesting to say that you want to write. You are one of the most writingest motherfuckers that I know. And so you said you want to write more. Chris has approximately 72 series.
Just about
coming out, so that's really impressive. No, that ball drops. It's this thing that happens to me. I don't know. Like I'll go out drinking, and then the next day I'm like, all right, I need to get to it. Like I don't know if I feel like I need to compensate because I had a good time. I don't know what, but I'm like, I need to get it. Like the ball dropped. I was like, nah, I need to get some shit moving. You know what I'm saying?
Where definitely I do write a lot. I used to write more though. This past year I was kind of in a slump. You know how it is when you just like in your feels, I guess. It depends on what it is, and I just like it it was on the back burner for a little bit, and this year my foot's back on the pedal, and we're pumping out as much content as possible. You know, it's not just going to be YouTube, it's not just going to be writing, it's going to be Kickstarters, it's going to be we're just putting everything in the middle right now, and we're going all in and trying to make some shit happen. You know, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this next year. And David, you seem like you're also a workaholic, starting your own platform. What made you want to do such a thing?
All right. Well, so I guess I am the person who kind of made Crowdfunder happen, but Crowdfunder is a part of Connection Point. Connection Point's a crowdfunding company that's been around for over 12 years, and the first platform it was started by a friend of mine, Daryl Hatton. And the first platform that came out was Fundraiser. That was kind of the main platform that people had been on, and Fundraiser had a lot of different types of users on it. It was more like a fund anything, fund everything platform. And so we had a lot of social good campaigns on there. We also had healthcare campaigns, pet funding campaigns, and a bunch of creators that were using it. And so what we decided to do was to take the same underlying technology that's been powering Fundraiser, the Connection Point platform that's been powering Fundraiser for a long time, and make something that was unique for creators to serve that community specifically. So we've been doing a lot in social good, and now it's time to focus on the arts. And one of the impetuses for that really was a campaign that was run by Matthew Allison in March and April of last year. It's funny to say last year now, right? But it just happened, just rolled over. And that campaign, actually, I'm going to show it to you. So this is Cancor from Matthew Allison, and so he set a goal of $25,000 and ended up with $62,000. And I think it's important to note that the numbers that you see in Crowdfunder, the goals do not include shipping. So if you were to do apples to apples on Kickstarter, this would be a $70-something thousand campaign because we don't include shipping in the goal. It also makes it easier for people because then you don't have to, not knowing what your shipping or costs are going to be, you don't have to inflate your goal to make sure that you cover shipping. You collect shipping outside of your goal to make sure you can hit your goal.
Yeah, so that's a good point to bring up. I think we all, as we look at Kickstarters, we forget that at least 20% a lot of the time is just shipping. And if not just that, it could be to your marketing teams and the like as well. So yeah. I like the transparency with the actual number. It seems we're closer to the actual, this is what you made from your crowdfunding efforts.
That's right. Yep. So Matthew, the history behind Matthew Allison's campaign was that he didn't want to use Kickstarter. He was unhappy about some changes Kickstarter had made at the beginning of last year. And so he went out to the source of all truth and knowledge on the internet, to Reddit, and asked, what should I use instead? And in fact, if you do a search now for top alternatives to Kickstarter, Fundraiser will come up. And so people told him to try Fundraiser, and he did. And this was the result of his campaign on Fundraiser. And when we talked to him after his campaign, he said, I looked at Fundraiser. It looked like a social good platform. It didn't look like the right thing for a comics campaign. And I said, well, what if we launched Crowdfunder as a campaign, as a platform, same platform, but specifically geared toward the arts. And he highly suggested we do that. And he brought in some other comics creators. And 3 months later, we launched Crowdfunder because we wanted to take the same power that we had already in Fundraiser and bring it over for creators to be able to use it, for the arts. So that was kind of the source of it. And I'm I guess I've been the driving force behind that, but I didn't start this company. Daryl Hatton started it. He brought me in to his advisory board. I've started 2 other companies previously, both of them in online fundraising. And so I've been doing online fundraising for 22 years, online fundraising platforms. And I'm really excited. This one's my favorite. Of all the things that I've done, the companies that I've started on my own, joining Connection Point and doing Crowdfunder, this one's been my favorite. And it's been my favorite because of this community. Like, just working with all you guys, with all you comms creators, has been amazing. It's just such a fun community.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you know, Stokes, everyone is really kind and gracious and accepting.
Was it April Fool's? No, 100%. And I want to say something. Our big homie Anas did a campaign through Crowdfunder, so I have a huge appreciation for the platform just off of that. We love Anas.
Right,
I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, but he did a Crowdfunder. And
do you know what the campaign was?
Oh,
which one was it? Do
you remember? Jackass right now. Let me.
Okay. Don't feel like a jackass.
Yeah. While you're pulling that up, though, yeah, I agree that the indie comic space specifically is. It's small, but it's also big, and it's also connected and also very disconnected all at the same time. But there are some really awesome and genuine people that you'll meet and you can connect with and work with and make some really cool things happen. And I'm glad that you're a part of this community now, David.
Thank you.
And contributing to it and giving us all another alternative to platforms like Kickstarter, because it's important to have competition in the free market. And the internet self-selects for monopoly, right? It's the network effect. So and the only way to combat that is to create better platforms.
Well, I hope that's what we're doing. Like, when we talk about Crowdfunder, we really do look at it as the creator-friendly platform. Right. It's what we tried to do is to, sort of look at all the things that platforms like Kickstarter have put in place in order to support their business plan. And because our business, the way we run our business is different, we're able to not have a lot of those restrictions and limitations. So, like, one, for example, is you can do a keep it all, an all or nothing campaign, which is just like Kickstarter, but you can also do with us a keep it all campaign. So, for example, if you've already got your comic done and all the art is there, right, and everything's ready, and you just need to build some excitement around it in order to effectively do a pre-sale, there's no reason that you have to do an all or nothing campaign. You can set a goal in order to generate excitement, and you can set a deadline, but you can also do a keep it all campaign. And so from the first dollar that comes in, that money goes to you, and you just start collecting the money in order to make your pre-sales, and then be able to deliver the product as soon as you want. So you can actually start fulfillment early. And the main reason why we can do that is because we never touch the money. You put in your Stripe account, you put in your PayPal account, and all the money goes directly to you. We never touch it. So because we never touch it, we've got a lot of flexibility around the way you guys can manage it. Another thing that we do is, let's say you set a goal of $1,000, and on day one you hit your goal. With other platforms, you have to wait until the campaign ends for that to fund, and then you have to wait another 15 days, 21 days, or however long it might be until you actually get the money. With us, if on day one you hit your goal, you can fund on day one, and that money will be in your account on day one.
So that sounds really awesome. Sorry to interrupt, but it makes me curious. Where does Crowdfunder get its piece?
Let me say this real quick. There's no but. Chris wants his money as soon as possible. There's no follow-up but.
Right, but definitely. But I'm curious where Crowdfunder is getting, like, where is the incentive for Crowdfunder in this situation?
Well, let me show you. Can you pop up?
Yep,
the screen?
Of course.
There we go. So we have 3 models that we let you guys choose from. Right. So you choose the model that you want. Right. We don't say this is our model. These are the 3 options that we offer. And you can switch models in between. And I'm going to show you an example of somebody who did that in the middle of their campaign. They started with simply free. They switched over to nearly free. Now, here's how this works. You choose. which campaign you want. So if you want to do simply free, basically all you have to pay is your payment processing fees, right? Whatever you would have to pay to Stripe and to PayPal. And that usually ends up being around 3.5%. It could be as high as 4.5%, depending. If you're using PayPal, it's going to be higher. But we don't charge you anything, nothing, zero. What we do is we ask your supporters to leave us a tip in order to keep our ability to offer these campaigns for free. And enough people tip us. Like I said, we've been doing this for 12 years. We know how this works. Enough people tip us for this to be worthwhile for us to do. We get paid. The second model is called nearly free. This is the one that's the most popular because while we do charge you 5% and the payment processing companies also charge you their portion, we ask your supporters to cover your costs. And what happens is when a supporter comes in and they're there because they're excited about you, right? They want your campaign to succeed. And they feel like they're by supporting you, that they're a part of your campaign. They're in essence, they're kind of co-creators, right? I don't mean co-creators from an artistic perspective, but they're part of the production. Their ability to support you means that the comic's going to get made. And so they're excited about it. And for them to throw in a few extra bucks to cover your costs for the campaign is no big deal because they want to help. And so what ends up happening is that around 90% of supporters will cover your costs. And that brings the cost of crowdfunding down below 2% generally. Often it's below 1%, and sometimes even below 0.5%. So, Chris, you were talking earlier about how you look at the number in Kickstarter, and then you have to remember you've got to knock 20% off of that for shipping. Well, you also have to knock 10% off of that for fees. In our case, it's going to be around 1%. That's going to be the cost, the total cost to you as someone running the campaign with us, and we get paid because the supporters do that. And then our third model is called not free, where we charge you 5%, and then you also have to pay payment processing fees. And I think this is the model that you are all very familiar with. Just about nobody uses this on Crowdfunder, but it is there for you, mostly for you to be able to see what we don't do. I mean, what we do, but what you don't want to do. So that's how we get paid, Chris. Thanks for asking. And what I wanted to show you is, so here's an example of a campaign. This is a Burning Man campaign. We've got lots of Burning Man campaigns, but in this campaign specifically, they also raised money offline, meaning they had people that just came and handed them money, and they recorded it in the campaign because they wanted to show how much money they raised. So that's an option with us. So you can do offline contributions. There's no fees for any offline contribution. But the total amount that they raised was $15,000 online. And if you go down here, you can see that under Simply Free, they had 63 transactions for that amount of money, and their effective rate was 3.8% because the payment fees were 3.8%. That's what it cost them through PayPal and Stripe. When they switched over to Nearly Free, their cost of fundraising dropped down to 1.3%. So that's just an example of what that looks like. One of several examples that we can look at. So another one, I can randomly choose one so that it doesn't.
Let's do Dwellings. That is actually one of my favorite series.
All right. Do you want to do 3 or 4?
Let's do 4.
All right. 4. So with 4, here's what happened. The goal, their goal was 5K. They raised 14,000+ towards their goal, but the actual amount of money that they made was 20,000, only of which 349 of that was offline. Why? Because there was $4,000 that they collected towards shipping. Now, we don't show that in the goal. If we were Kickstarter, you would say, okay, you raised $20,000, but we only show the $14,000. So a lot of times our campaigns look like they're not raising as much money as campaigns do on Kickstarter, but that's because we only show the real goal. We don't show all this, the fees that you're paying and the shipping and all the other stuff that, that goes on top of that, that you don't actually end up seeing. This is the money that you're going to see, plus $4,000 for shipping. And the recovered fees were $1,400. In this case, their effective fee rate was 2.1%, because 84% of the people 88% participated, and that covered 78% of their fees. And one of the reasons why it didn't cover a higher rate of that is because PayPal has a higher cost, and if you use PayPal, it costs a little bit more. But again, effective fee rate 2%. So that's how we make money, and that's how you pay way less for your crowdfunding campaign than you would pay with any other platform.
Very cool. I appreciate you taking us through that, and I appreciate Crowdfunder being very upfront with exactly how they monetize, because obviously the world's all about money. So it's good to see that. Also, that you're able to thrive off of the generosity of the indie community, right? And that's like one of the great things about the indie community and being a part of it, is that everyone is, really connected and wants everyone else to succeed and be able to just to make comics at the end of the day. Stokes?
I had a question. So would you say that the best thing about the platform is the flexibility, or is that the mantra, or is that...
our mantra is that we are the creator-friendly crowdfunding platform. We're friendly to creators, right? So what we do is designed for you. Let me give you another example. When you run a campaign with us, all the people that are subscribed to your campaign, or the people that are contributing to your campaign, they're your customers. They're not our customers. They're not our users. We don't even require them to create a login with us. They're your customers. What that means is that that we don't how should I put this? We don't hide backer reports after a certain amount of time. You can download the data easily out of our platform. And these people are paying you directly. They're not paying us. And so in essence, you're our only customer, not them. With other platforms, we're providing a platform to you that you can use to connect with your customers. With other platforms, they're providing a platform where you are their supplier, and they're connecting you to their customers, right? And so because you're a supplier, why are you a supplier? Because who's paying you, right? Ultimately, who's paying you? The money gets funded by Kickstarter, right? So their customers are paying them, and then they're paying you to essentially drop ship a product to their customers. And so you have to think, when you think about it from that perspective, it's their customers. They're going to be protecting their customers first before they're going to look after the interests of you, their supplier. Think about it like in the Amazon world, right? With Amazon.com, they're far more interested in their customers that are paying them on Prime, that are coming back and buying from different suppliers that they have. They're more interested in them than they are with their suppliers. They're squeezing their suppliers. They're doing all kinds of stuff. So it's the same kind of thing. We're a little bit more like Shopify in that you're getting a platform from us. Like with Shopify, everybody gets their own store and they pay Shopify for it, right? That's our approach. Right. You're getting a crowdfunding platform from us, and then it's a place where you can connect with your customers, where you can build your audience, not our audience, your audience. So every time a creator runs a campaign on Kickstarter or on Indiegogo, what they're doing is they're just growing Kickstarter and Indiegogo. They're growing their customer base. They're not growing their own customer base. They're growing the customer base of the platform.
So this is actually an interesting point to maybe push back a little on.
That's why I was smiling.
So Kickstarter. So I appreciate the ability to connect to your audience, right? But I would say that one of the benefits of Kickstarter and Indiegogo, but more predominantly is Kickstarter, is going back to this to the network effect and its network and its customers, right? You mentioned that we're connecting to our fans, but how does Crowdfunder help expand those fans as well? Because that Kickstarter also allows us to connect to our fans, but it's
Yes.
introducing new people to us as well. So I'm curious
Yes.
how Crowdfunder approaches that and approaches growing campaigns, not just selling to the ones that we already have.
Yep. So there is, I want to start with by acknowledging there is no question that Kickstarter is in some way introducing you to new people, right? Because with the volume of users that they have, there's got to be some new people that are being introduced to you. What I would also say is, I who you're getting your analytics from, right? So, it's if you are, I've had creators say to me, I'll upload my contacts into my campaign, and then that email then when the campaign launches, an email goes out, and when those people come back, and they support my campaign, Kickstarter attributes those users to them because they sent out the email, right? So there are layers there of where Kickstarter's analytics will tell you that a lot of the people that you're getting are from them. But they didn't used to even have the meta pixel, right? The Facebook pixel for a long time. So if somebody was coming from Facebook from activity that you may have done, that was getting attributed to Kickstarter. If somebody reads about you, or someone sees you on a stream, or hears about you on a podcast, and then types in the exact name of your campaign into the Kickstarter search bar, Kickstarter attributes that to them, right? So I'm not going to say that it's not like it's nefarious or shady, or they're trying to deceive you, but they don't have all the data. In Crowdfunder, we give you the ability to connect your Google Analytics, put in your Facebook pixel, and you can see exactly where everything comes from with your own analytics, not ours, right? So that way you have a really very clear picture of what your activity has been. So I'm not saying that you don't get some stuff from Kickstarter. What I'm saying is that it's possible that you're not getting as much out of Kickstarter as it would appear from the reports that they're giving to you. And I don't think that they're intentionally deceiving. I really do think that they honestly do consider that to be their own activity that they've been generating. And so I'm sure that there is a boost that you're getting. We can't provide that boost. We're 6 months old. Until all the comics creators move over to Crowdfunder, we're not going to be able to give you that kind of audience and that kind of a boost. But what we do have built into our platform is a lot of nudges, prompts, and teases around social sharing. And so what we do is we try, for the people that you bring in, we try to nudge them quite a bit to bring in other people from their community. And so, but crowdfunding for the most part, and you guys know this, is about your own promotion. Like, the more you promote, the more you're likely going to get people in there. And yes, some people will come from the platform. Is it 10%? I don't know, but it's going to cost you 10% less, or 8 or 9% less if you do it with us. So, like, there are trade-offs in every platform. There are going to be some trade-offs. And so the question is, are you willing to try something new? Are you willing to experiment? One other thing that I think is also key to the way, because of the way we run our platform differently, because you're our customer and not our supplier, we let you run concurrent campaigns. So you don't have to wait until you fulfill one campaign in order to start another one. So Chris, you want to write more? You can run a campaign every month if you want to, and just keep running them one after another, and get your stuff out there. You don't have to wait until you fulfill one to start another one.
Let me say something real quick. And I think you're right that it's ultimately kind of what do you want to give up, right? Like, what are you willing to give up to get the what cons are you willing to accept to get the pros? And I think one thing, when you said it's creator friendly, I agree with you. That's creator friendly. If somebody was going to start there first, their first crowdfunding campaign, I would probably recommend something like Crowdfunder as opposed to Kickstarter. The flip side of that is, personally, I feel like it's like when creation, like when you put like limiters on yourself, or you make certain rules, you kind of have to like exceed those. You got to work a little bit harder. And I think Kickstarter is definitely difficult, it's definitely stressful, but I feel like because of that, people take that extra, not even that extra second. Me and Chris have campaigns launching this month, and we haven't even done the campaign because it's so laborious. That's what it is. It's laborious.
Mhm.
And it takes so much attention and focus. But I also feel like the flip of that is you have to put that extra attention in. I think that's also the benefit of the hard deadline. And I think that a lot of the features, running a campaign has been one of the most stressful moments of my life.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Every
absolutely.
time. So I would
Absolutely.
say, and this is kind of, I talked to Chris about this. I think like creators like us who are we're pretty good at crowdfunding, or Kickstarter specifically. And I think that's
Mhm.
another hurdle to get over, is that when people think crowdfunding is in Kickstarter.
Yes,
And
Kleenex.
yeah, and I would love for that not to be the case. Like, any competition is beautiful,
Yeah.
but like our margin for error is like smaller, and we have built our audience partially through Kickstarter. You know what I'm saying? And I think that for us, I think that's going to be a bit of a hill to climb. But if it's a newer creator who just wants some bread to like get the art done, or get printing done, I think this is fantastic.
Sorry, Chris. It looked like you were going to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to build off of that. I'm wondering what if Crowdfunder ever like helps out maybe mid-level creators, or maybe top level creators, or even newer ones, if you guys ever put in maybe give them an extra nudge in the algorithm, or however your platform is with sharing and pushing content.
Yeah. So I'll address that first, Chris. So we don't, we don't have 100 or 150 comics campaigns starting every month, right? We don't. We've got, well, I don't even know actually right now what the numbers are, but they're not, they're just not coming in at that rapid pace. So we're giving attention to every single one. And we are promoting every single one, and we're trying to help out everybody that's coming in. So our objective is to see as many successful campaigns as possible. But also, on the flip side of that, we also don't, because we're supporting the creator and not we're not focusing on building our own client base. We let anybody who wants to try. Right. So there are, with Kickstarter, you've got to go through this. You create a campaign, it has to get verified. It's got to meet their standard. It's got to be, a certain way. We don't do all that. If somebody wants to come in and raise $200 and they put together a campaign that does not look great, we don't stop them. We don't turn them away. We don't shut them down. But the campaigns that are good really do stand out and are successful on the platform. But Stokes, back to your comment about, you've already built your reputation through Kickstarter, or you built, your audience up through Kickstarter. You can bring that audience with you. We've had a lot of creators that they take their Kickstarter audience and they bring them over, and that audience is just as active in Crowdfunder, and grows. It expands. Like there are people beyond that, beyond the initial audience that they've developed, that is that come through and grow with them in Crowdfunder. So it's not, and we've had some big creators like Jay Stevens, right, who does that, and so it's not. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't think people should feel trapped in Kickstarter. I don't think you should say, because I started there, I have to stay there. The people that support you want to support you. They don't care so much about the platform. And And so, I think it's worth people saying, I want to take my community with me, and I want them to be my community. I don't want them to be Kickstarter's customers. I want them to be my customers, right? And I want to be able to do more with them than just these campaigns. I want to be able to communicate with them outside of my campaigns and to talk to them about other things that I have going on. I want to talk to them about my streams. I want to be able to communicate with them in other ways, and so for people that want that, I think it's worth it. Now, the other thing is, it's not all or nothing. Like, you can still run campaigns on Kickstarter, and you can run campaigns on Crowdfunder. You can do it on Crowdfunder first, and raise $3,000 and then move it over to Kickstarter. And if you're not promoting to your own audience, then see what Kickstarter will actually bring to that campaign, right? And so, there are all kinds of ways to test it and see. We are not proprietary about it. If you want to do something with us and then do something on Kickstarter, you want to do something on Kickstarter first, then try it with us. You want to do them at the same time, that's okay too. But the place that's going to work the best is the place that you're promoting, right? That's the one that's the campaign that's going to be the most successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear that. So I want to ask maybe a tough question then for you.
Yeah, of course.
Say you were about to launch your own comic book.
Yes.
What crowdfunding site are you launching that campaign on?
Well, so of course I'm biased, right? I'm going to say I want to launch it on Crowdfunder for a lot of the reasons that I've already mentioned. But I think part of the reason why I would want to do it on Crowdfunder more than I'd want to do it elsewhere is because I want to be able to control my own destiny, right? I want to be on a platform where what I'm doing is connecting me with my audience, and where I have control over my data, where I have control over the funding, where the money goes and how it comes in and when it comes in. That's kind of the way I would prefer to do it. Some people prefer, I guess, let me think about it this way. I talked earlier about Amazon and Shopify. When I'm a supplier to a retailer, and I don't have a direct relationship with the customer, then I'm just one supplier, and there's really no differentiation between me and anybody else that's on the platform, or at that retailer, right? So I'm kind of at the mercy of that retailer to determine, are they going to promote me? Are they not going to promote me? Do I have to pay for shelf space? Do I have to, what do I need to do in order to get the attention of that retailer to put me in front of their customers? On the flip side, if it's there's a lot of Shopify stores that are essentially direct to consumer, right? Where you're selling directly to your audience. And in that situation, you have a lot more control over your own future and over what happens between you and your customers. So one of the things that with Crowdfunder Professional, you can actually put your own logo in the masthead. And I can show you an example of that with Dwellings. You can go back to Dwellings. So if you look at Dwellings, I'm going to hide that, you'll see the Crowdfunder logo is gone. It's the Black Eye Books logo up there, right? This is really an example of how we put our customers before us. We're willing to remove our logo from the top of the page in order to give them their brand and to give their audience, the attention of their own company. And so, for me, if I'm trying to build my brand and I'm trying to build an audience, I don't want to be beholden to a platform that is sitting between me and my audience. I would rather be able to develop a relationship directly with my audience.
I mean, great answer to that. Now I have another follow-up to that, and seeing that you even hide the logo. Where do you think that Crowdfunder may be going too far with their lack of self-branding? Is there ever a like a point where it's too much and it's at the detriment of the business, and potentially having those, you know, crowdfunder people that go to Crowdfunder specifically for their content, just like there seems to be Kickstarter people that goes directly to Kickstarter for their content.
Yeah. So, so there is an element of, you know, the possibility of going too far. If there was that, if we were really focused on becoming a retail outlet, right? If we really wanted to elevate our brand, then yes, there is a point of going too far. But the thing is that when everybody's promoting their campaigns, they're saying this is a Crowdfunder campaign, right? And so whether you see Crowdfunder or you don't see Crowdfunder, people are promoting their campaigns as Crowdfunder campaigns. One thing that we do that's kind of cool is we give you the ability to embed a widget or widgets in your own site. And so, you know, if somebody does that and they click on the widget, they can go through the whole campaign and check out and everything and stay on your site, and they won't know that it's a Crowdfunder campaign. But you've already established a relationship with that customer. They're not coming to Crowdfunder to find you. They're coming to you in order to interact with you, and they're able to do that directly with you from your site. So yes, we do want the Crowdfunder brand out there, but not necessarily because we were trying to attract buyers, but because we want creators to be able to build their own platform with us, to be able to build their own audience with us. And so, you know, I do think that over time, that more and more buyers are going to become aware of Crowdfunder because of the creators that are there, not because of Crowdfunder. And that's what's more important to us, is that people are coming to the creators and supporting the creators that are our actual customers. That's what matters to us.
No, I definitely respect that. It seems that you guys want to really foster just like a really tight relationship with these creators, not just comic books people, but everyone that's doing the arts and bringing it to Crowdfunder. So I respect that, and I think it's a very respectable business practice, and there's not a lot of that going on in the world. So I appreciate you also being upfront with your answer as well. Stokes, do you have anything to add?
No, you pretty much said it. It sounds like they're trying to do the right thing, you know. Like I can really appreciate that.
Yeah,
like I said,
I appreciate what you said, Stokes. Like, it's, you know, it's the question, you know, like, what can we do for you? And, you know, can we bring, you know, 1 million customers to come and look at your comic? And the answer is no, that's not what we're bringing you. That's not what, you know, if that is important, if that's, you know, like the number one factor, the key factor, then you should definitely go with a platform that's going to do that.
Yeah, I think that's like I said, I think it depends entirely. And I think I get the logic. I get the logic between I'm going to foster my own fan base that's not beholden to a particular platform. Like, I get that as well. But I also understand I'm going to distribute on the platform with the most people, you know. Like, I get the logic either way. And I think what I would love is, like I said, for nothing, I'm rooting for you, like, you guys, like, believe me, like, I don't like that Kickstarter is synonymous with crowdfunding, because it is extremely easy to get complacent, and that's like, it's a monopoly essentially. So I guess my question is, what specific features would you like, if you were going to try to convince somebody, like, what are a couple features you would specifically state? You know, you mentioned some that would be like, this is the thing that Kickstarter isn't doing. I know one thing for me that I always complain about is like the pre-launch campaign, the pre-launch page for Kickstarter. It sucks. Like, it's just to notify me on launch with a banner and then like a little bit of room for text to do a pitch. Do you guys have a pre-launch page?
Yeah, so our pre-launch page is your entire campaign.
Oh,
the moment that you make your pre-launch, the moment that you're ready, finish setting up your campaign, you can send that out as your pre-launch, and people can see the entire campaign, everything that you've written, all of the rewards, the whole thing. They just can't order anything until you turn it on. They can subscribe from there, but they will see the whole thing. And so that way they can start taking a look at the rewards. If you're going to do like time limited early bird, for the people that come in on the first day or something like that, or you want to do some sort of I don't know, the first 20 copies get whatever it is that an extra something with it. Then you can do that, and people will come in and they'll see it, and they're going to be on there the moment the campaign goes live, because they want to get the first 20 copies of that, the early bird thing. So, but they will see the entire campaign. And then, I mean, let's do this. Instead of me telling you, you keep telling me, like, what are the other things you'd like to see?
Well, it's probably a 4-hour stream. No, I would, I think I'm trying to think right now. I think the pre-launch, and then also what I absolutely love is you don't have to make an account. And I think that's almost the most frustrating thing about Kickstarter, is that, like, to get somebody to do a Kickstarter, it's like walking somebody through defusing a bomb. Like, it's like they have to sign in. Is it their Facebook? It's like, it's such a, I was riding in the car with my friend. We're going on a trip, a 4-hour trip from Chesapeake, Virginia. No, this is Richmond, Virginia to Wilmington, North Carolina. So I'm sitting in the car with this guy for 4 hours, and it took him the entirety of 4 hours to just back my campaign. He was closing out the app. He was giving up and trying again, but it just kind of speaks to like this is creator friendly, but I also think it's user friendly as well.
It is.
And that's why I would circle back to, if this is your first campaign, I would definitely recommend Crowdfunder, because it's going to be less laborious. You're going to be able to get your grandmother, to sign up. You're going to get your aunties to sign up. So that's a huge plus in my book.
Yeah. Well, and we also support PayPal, which is a blessing and a curse, right? As we all know. But but the ability for people who don't want to put their credit card in, create another account and put their credit card in, to just pay with PayPal or Apple Pay or Samsung Pay or any of those, is really nice, because they can just go ahead and do that. Yeah, you know what that is?
Sheesh. No, I know. No, I use Apple Pay, bro. I like double click, scan.
Y'all got Venmo?
Yep.
I got Venmo. I'm out.
Oh, Cash App?
I don't know about Cash App. I don't know.
Can we Zelle Crowdfunder?
You cannot Zelle, and you cannot Cash App. No, but you can Venmo. You can PayPal. You can Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay. All of those work. And you're right. I mean, not having to create an account is really a nice benefit, and not having to put in your credit card number if you want to use PayPal is a really nice benefit. Those are things that are really straightforward, and make it a lot easier for people to support your campaign.
Definitely. I've definitely logged on to other competing platforms before, other than Kickstarter, and have logged off and closed my phone or my browser before I ended up actually backing the campaign. So having that, like, breaking that barrier of having to create an account, I think is really awesome. But I do think, as going back to the, like, where is Crowdfunder's brand, and when is it potentially detrimental to Crowdfunder's brand, because that's also a user that you don't get, right? Necessarily.
Yep. Right. But you get them.
We get them, yes, but
that's what matters.
Right. It definitely does matter. It definitely does matter.
Double use salesmanship. I ain't gonna lie. David is spitting right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So some of the nice things is, like I said, is the ability to run concurrent campaigns and not having to, wait. And I know you guys both have a lot of output, and so the ability to do that, I think, would be pretty meaningful and pretty significant. You can get the funding right away, right? But no, keep going, Stokes. Tell me your pain, man.
Chris, I didn't mean to cut you off. Were you?
No, you're good.
You're good. No, it's so funny, because when I was starting out doing like when I was getting ready for the Crowdfunder, I was talking about it. This is years ago, and I was like, I wanted to get a groundswell argument. I wasn't audience. I was not trying to do like the grassroots shit. Like, I was like, I'm trying to, like, get an audience overnight. Like, ain't no fucking way I'm about to be out here, you know, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's just is a little spicy. I was trying to get an audience fast, right? So I was telling my boy, I was like, yo, I'm going to release the comic book for free. I'm gonna send the comic book out for free because I like to take the mixtape approach. And what the mixtape approach is, to me, it's just like maximum effort. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm gonna ask you individually, yo, you want to check out my comic book? Do you want to listen to my mixtape? And somebody told me terrible advice. They were like, what I would do, I wouldn't give it to free. I would give it to people for 99 cents. And I said, look, bro, the inconvenience of putting in a credit card is not worth it at that point. Like, take out my credit card if my wallet's in my pocket at the time and entering the numbers and all that stuff. By that point, I just paid the $2.99. Like, and so to be able to do Apple Pay or any of these super convenient payment methods, like I can just like get this done in the convenience. I can order something from Amazon is a huge deal.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I think another thing that we do that's different that people really like is, and I talked about, you know, the ability to brand the branding and, you know, being able to make the page. I guess I didn't talk about this. Be able to make the page your own. You can put in a custom background and you can change colors and on stuff like that. But I think one thing that people really like is the way our rewards are structured. And I can actually show you a little bit of this. So this is a campaign that is over. Let's go to a campaign that's going. Let's just go into trending. Here, let's take this one. This one's a really cool one. So, and again, you can see this is Soaring Penguin Press, and so it's their logo. And so what we're looking at here is these are the rewards, right? So you get a really nice image, you get the ability to, you know, to order it, and in fact, each reward gets its own page for SEO purposes, and so so this page, you know, is a persistent page with your content on it that stays there. That's something I forgot to mention. When your campaign ends, it rolls over into a store, right? So it's not over. You can keep selling from the same page with the same SEO, with the same, all the links that you've generated from wherever it might be, whether it's, you know, in blogs, podcasts, reviews, whatever it is, those links all still work and your campaign can still take money. So this campaign ended. This campaign's been going 55 days, and it was a 30-day campaign, right? So they just kept it going. It's still going, and people can still order, and people are still ordering. And so our rewards, you know, you've got a really nice image here. It's got a full page on it. You can put in some content in there, and then what happens is after you click on, let's say, order, you're essentially given a page where you can put in whatever you want, right? You don't have to choose one tier. And then if that exact tier isn't what you want, then you're kind of stuck with it. And maybe you can do an add-on on the next screen, right? But it might not be what you want. But here, anything that's available, you can add it to your cart, right? And so what a lot of people do, a lot of people that run campaigns with us do, is they will, let me show you somewhere else. This might be an ongoing. So basically they'll put in a bunch of their previous items, and they will, and then they'll have those previous items in their campaign in order to, you know, sell stuff that they had from their previous stuff. And people can choose what are their previous books do they want to put in there and add them in. Another cool thing is that we have the ability for you to do variants. So like if you wanted to do different covers, you know, with one that's foil, one that's metal, you can price those differently. And people can put those into their cart. And so there's just a lot of different ways that our rewards work that give you considerably more flexibility than you would be able to do with other platforms, right? So, you know, I want to get that version of it. and I want to get 2 of them. So, and then you continue. Oh, sorry, I got to select a country. In my case, Canada. You continue, and then you go through the checkout process, and there you go. So the idea that there's a lot more flexibility in the rewards that you can offer is really nice. And then one of the cool things, I just want to find this one campaign that I really love called System Error. So with System Error 1, Blue Fox Comics, what they did is they put in a lot of their back catalog. So you can see there's a lot of rewards here, right? I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling. There are a lot of rewards. Now, when they come to create campaign number 2, the next one that they're doing, whether it's System Error or not, if you want to have all these rewards available, because it's essentially your back catalog and you want to ship to them, that's a real pain in the butt to recreate. Unless you just go to clone campaign and the entire campaign is cloned, and then you just change the things that you want to change, but all the rewards are in there, everything's in there, it's all ready to go for your next campaign. So you don't have to rebuild it every single time. Any campaign that you make, like if you're going to be doing Decay 4, for example.
Oh, take it easy there. Just
if you're going to be doing Decay 4, and then you get that one all set up, and then you want to do Decay 5, and you want to have all the back issues in there, and you want to have some of the other stuff in there too, then it's really easy to just clone it, and then you've got your new campaign set up with all the new things, with all the stuff that you had in there before.
Yeah, that's actually a really awesome feature. We've all been doing the whole remaking your whole Kickstarter campaign for the next one, and it's a total pain in the ass. And so is the making of the add-ons, which is ridiculous. And the fact that you're just having this catalog of creators' work and making it easy for us to just set up this page is really awesome. And was what I was going to ask about. The next thing I want to ask about though is on the back end.
Yeah.
It's actually really it's really a pain when you're trying to fulfill these add-ons and things like that on Kickstarter, because they don't give you like a master list of, oh, this is what all your, like, these are the amount of X that you have to send out, and it's going to this person, and you have to really go through each person to find exactly who's getting what add-ons. Is there in the back end, is it very streamlined and easy for us to get to this information and send it out?
So don't show my screen, because I have got there's actual real names in here. So I can't show this to you because there are real names in these campaigns. But we do have a fulfillment report that you download, spreadsheet that gives you the ability to sort and arrange things in any way that you want, and it will show you what each person ordered, their full order, and so you can pack it, ship it, mark it as fulfilled, and move on from there.
Okay, awesome.
Did that answer the question?
Yeah, it did.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to say real quick that Kickstarter, we've been giving Kickstarter a lot of pushback, frankly. They do have a fulfillment. It's like, I think it's a fulfillment beta where it'll give you a list of all the items that you need. So that, like,
I did see that. That's really cool. So
you could theoretically like just bag everything up and then get it ready, but it doesn't show like how it's wanting.
Yeah, it tells you how many total, but it doesn't tell you like who's getting what. And so when you're doing your actual like fulfilling of the campaign, it'll break it down with like, all right, these are the people that got this reward, and they'll all have different dollar amounts if they have different add-ons. We actually have to click on each individual person to find out which add-ons they're getting and things like that. So it becomes a very laborious process where and a process already takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. You just have to you have to find ways to fail safe yourself or safe proof it so you don't miss somebody's rewards or their add-ons, and you have to go through it one by one, and it's definitely time consuming. And for maybe more mid-level campaigns where it's still kind of doable, but once you get to those higher level campaigns, it becomes it seems like it'd be unmanageable.
What you know about that though?
I don't know. Well, I don't know what I know about that, but I mean, there's definitely people that run campaigns that have lots and lots of backers, and it makes it almost impossible to do without another party or like a third party helping you
using
out
something like BackerKit or something. Yeah.
So
So that's not an issue with us. The
Right.
report that you can download, you can then, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but then you can also sort it and tinker with it in Excel however you like.
Okay, awesome. There's 11 people in here, 12 people. We're sort of hovering around that number. Thanks everyone for stopping in. I just want to make sure that everybody that's watching hits the like button and also subscribes to our YouTube channel. We go live every Tuesday. Sometimes we have a Thursday stream, and we've got shorts coming out. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you are notified when we go live or when one of our new videos are up.
Absolutely. Please hit subscribe. I need the validation. It makes my day.
Yeah, Stokes definitely needs a validation. Validation, the vindication. If you haven't noticed, my boy needs it. My boy needs that confidence.
We talking a little.
I mean, my dude is Luigi, bro. We gotta hype up Luigi.
It's so hard to fill a big campaign, when you got all them backers. When you get 300, 400 backers.
I'm just saying, we gotta help out Luigi over here. We gotta make sure we buy Luigi's Mansion, everybody. Even though we know that even Luigi's Mansion is about Mario. So
hey, I subscribed twice, guys. I subscribed twice.
Oh my! Hey. Dub guest.
Yes. But we're not going anywhere just yet, everybody. So David, we're gonna let you convince us. We're gonna let you really try and get our next campaigns. You gotta try and get Decay numbers 4 and 5, and get my next campaign after the one that we're about to launch, the Saturn Effect Alpha number 5.
It's too late.
You're gonna have to. So I mean, if you were in an elevator with us, what's your 60-second elevator pitch to get us to switch over to Crowdfunder, or anybody else listening that is a creator that wants to get their crowdfunding campaign out there?
So I'm not a hard sell kind of guy, but what I will say is, if you like not overpaying for your crowdfunding platform, you should consider Crowdfunder. If you like controlling the relationship that you have with your supporters and not leaving that to somebody else, then you should try Crowdfunder. And if you want a lot more flexibility in how you can run your campaigns, keep it all or nothing, rolling it over into a store, being able to get funding immediately as soon as you hit your goal, having all the money go directly to you without a third-party intermediary touching it, have a lot of flexibility in editing your campaign and offering rewards, then Crowdfunder is for you.
Dub. That was a dub pitch. Awesome, David. Thank you. I know we just put you on the spot there, but
yeah, you did.
It's always important to have that 60-second, that elevator pitch ready. You gotta have that. You gotta be ready for whenever somebody's gonna be like, true. Tell me why.
That is true.
So, that was great, and I think W clip, right, Stokes?
This whole stream is a W, frankly, and I want to point out that the reason why David's here because we were talking. I don't know what post it was, but David was like, "How do I convince you to get you on Crowdfunder?" Or did you say leave Kickstarter, or did you say get on Crowdfunder?
I did. Nobody has to leave Kickstarter to come to Crowdfunder.
Okay, maybe me with my negative perspective was like, this has a negative connotation, so we have to leave Kickstarter. But no, this is. I do want to point out that you were you were proactive and you reached out to us, and I can't be worth my reputation if somebody felt like reaching out to me. Someone's a little off. You felt friendly enough to hit me up, but and I really appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that you were being active in promoting this thing. I genuinely I don't have a punchline, but just good on you, I guess.
Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely. We can see that you're all in, and that's really awesome.
Yeah. No, I care about the community. I care about the especially Stokes, who's so beaten up and downtrodden that he's very meek.
Stokes the bottom. Wait, wait, hold on. We hit 100 subs, bro. What happened?
What
happened?
We've been at 100 subs.
What happened? Where's the name change, bro?
What the hell?
The year of Stokes the Bomber, bro.
Was that during the apology?
Somebody needs to bring up the apology, clip that, bring it to us, and make sure Stokes remembers that he was supposed to become Stokes the Bottom. I'm sure somebody in chat will will vouch for me.
Yo.
That definitely did happen, and we're gonna hold you to that because we don't clickbait here, man. No clickbait.
This is a little bit behind baseball. I was so fucking drunk that stream. I don't remember saying that shit. So clip that. Send that to me. Yeah. No, I think I did. Yo, 100 came so fast.
100 came so fast, man. You didn't think it was gonna happen so quickly, but we hit that before the new year.
Speaking of fan bases.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Speaking of fan bases. But this was really awesome, David. And now we're actually going to do a little Kickstarter review. We had a bunch of people submit Kickstarter for us to take a look at,
Cool.
maybe run through, and it'd be awesome as we go through it. If you see something where you're like, yo, Crowdfunder just does this so much better, I want you to speak up and make sure that that you're heard, because Kickstarter is where we're at right now, but like I said, we're still open to it. And as you've said multiple times, you don't have to quit Kickstarter to use Crowdfunder. They could honestly have a very symbiotic relationship with each other. You can have get newer people from Kickstarter, then bring them on to Crowdfunder, and really sort of make them, as you were saying, your audience as opposed to Kickstarter's audience. So we're going to take a look at some Kickstarters, but before we look at the up and coming pages, we're going to look at some campaigns by
that's familiar.
It should looking familiar. I've been blasting this everywhere.
Yeah, you have.
But we're gonna take a look at Control Z number 1 and 2, guys. It's coming next week. Are you ready? Are you following? Are you ready for this? Are you ready to enter cyberscape? We got amazing rewards. We have covers from Tina Valentino, Francesco Mazzoli, Andrea Scalamazzi, Ricardo Ribaldo. We got awesome prints. We just have everything. So you make sure that you stop in next week when we go live. We're trying to fund day 1. I want to fund in like 12 hours, everybody. So make sure that you are following Control Z number 1 and 2. And then afterwards,
before you go.
What's up?
I just wanted to say, for the record, you mentioned all those covers, those amazing covers.
I did.
If your pre-launch page in Crowdfunder, you'd be showing all those covers.
I mean, dub for Crowdfunder right there. That's
what you told me to do that. I'm doing
That's point, David. All
right.
And then afterwards, later in the month, we got our boy Stokes and Intrusive Thoughts. What do you got for us, buddy?
This is so usually the opposite. Is I'm usually the pre-launch king. Chris has made a fantastic comic book, and it's he's been pumping the hell out of it. When did you start promoting your Control Z pre-launch?
I think around my birthday. I think that was like November. Okay. So it's not the longest that I've been promoting a Kickstarter before. I think maybe that might have been like Alpha 3 or maybe Alpha 2. But it's definitely our highest pre-launch follower count yet. So I appreciate everybody that hit pre-launch.
Shout out to Chris, bro. Yo, when you get that 200 for the first time, little bro, it's going to change it. It's going to change. Oh, you already hit 200. I already hit 200 on my other shit.
Okay. I mean, wait, who's hit the higher number yet?
Right now, you started pumping in November. My campaign ended. My campaign ended like in December. Like look, man.
I mean, I don't know, man. That just seems like a L for Luigi, but it's all good. But tell us about Intrusive Thoughts, man.
You're gonna see this nigga funny that first day. We're gonna see. No, absolutely. Intrusive Thoughts is a supernatural revenge thriller. It is about an orphan whose sleep paralysis demon bites one of his classmates. It is a like kind of gothic, like mythic kind of horror thriller. And I am very excited. I wish I could show you guys some photos, but the UI doesn't have the previews, man. So you gotta click on it off the strength, I guess.
Just a little tangent. Ignacio says it was actually Stokes at the power bottom, if I recall correctly. And Ignacio has the best memory in comic books, if you haven't heard. So,
so Chris wants me to be a bottom so bad, bro.
Hey yo, hey yo.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey yo. All right, on that, let's move on to our first Kickstarter review. We're going to be taking a look at The Last Herald, a dark fantasy epic. A conflict of greed and power threatens to descend the realms into chaos. Our only hope is the last herald. This is a campaign from Marcus McNeil. And it looks like we're just starting off and we're getting really close to that goal. So Straight off the bat, what are you seeing right now, Stokes, when from this pre-launch image, or not pre-launch, but this banner?
So it looks like the banner is not. I like to see original art on the banner. This does look clipped, but it looks good. Like, even though it's clipped, it looks good. I see a reasonable goal. Dark fantasy epic. It looks good. It's very. I mean, you're not showing me much, but from the first I click on it, I'm interested.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, my window froze, so let me open it up one more time.
The hard drive.
L hard drive, right? L hard drive. L computer. But yeah, I think well, as I fix this real quick, I think just having a strong pre-launch is super valuable. And having a strong banner, I mean, because that's what people are going to be seeing as they're looking through the Kickstarter website to see what they're going to back and things like that. So Stokes, what else do you look for when you're starting a Kickstarter campaign or looking for Kickstarters to back? As I try and pull up the new window.
So I like generally speaking, what's I'll say a bonus is the campaign video, something that identifies the creator, something that gives you some personality. I really enjoy, because we're back in. I shouldn't say we're back in projects, not we're back in both, but I feel as if a creator can sell themselves. That's a huge plus for me. I'm looking for interior art and a lot of samples, at least like 4 pages of interior art. I'm looking, how is it presented? Does it look organized? Does everything kind of lead into the next thing? Do you have a graphic with the rewards as well? What are the rewards looking like? Are they reasonably priced? Is it a wide variety? I don't like when all the rewards are really low priced, because then you're not, well, I guess from a creator standpoint, if I'm reviewing, I don't like that, because somebody might really want to like open up a bag for you and they can only go so, I mean, you could do the bonus, but generally speaking, they can only go so high. So that's something as well. The rewards well organized as well. And then the premise. What's the premise?
Jump in?
Absolutely. Yeah, of course.
One of the things that you can do in Crowdfunder is you can do a reward with an open-ended price and a minimum on it. And so, let's say, for example, you put up a signed comic book, and you have a suggested price of, I don't know, let's say $20 on it, but it's a suggested price, and the lowest price that you'll accept for that is $10. But people can put in the amount that they want if they want to give you $30 for it or $50 for it or something like that. And so, the ability to have that kind of flexibility, if somebody wants to give you more because they appreciate what you did, they can do that.
Awesome. So I got this page back up. So we're going to take a quick look, just scroll through it. We're taking a look at things like presentation, interior art, rewards, and then just the general story and premise. So off the bat, the presentation is on point. We see that they've already obviously have been taking a look at other campaigns to come up with some of these banners, these these ways to segment and sort out your page. I'm curious about for Crowdfunder if you have features that may making this sort of page easier to create, or if it's still sort of bare bones like Kickstarter's is.
So I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen this in Kickstarter. We have a full kind of WYSIWYG editor that you can pop stuff in there. You can embed videos and live streams, even if you want it inside your campaign, a YouTube live stream. You can really, pretty flexibly edit it. But you can also create tables. So if you wanted to put in certain things in certain columns and stuff, you can do that too. I'm not sure what the Kickstarter one looks like, so I can't really tell you.
Right. So Kickstarter just gives you sort of like a blank page, and you can sort of add your different text and stuff. If you want these headers, you have to make it yourself and separate it, obviously. So
that's the same with us. You'd have to make those headers on your own. Yep.
Okay, awesome. So we'll take a quick read of the synopsis. It's our story takes place in the realm of Chikyu, a war-torn continent in a constant land struggle between ruling families. Battle and war have been part of Chikyu's history for eons. So seems like we have a sort of fantasy sort of a book, war, very violent, but action based, hopefully. And they even have a preview on Global Comics.
Cool.
Which is definitely a dub. I know Stokes is a big fan, as he said earlier, of giving out issues and early digital to sort of foster goodwill with customers, and also be a good way to just like get people to read your book and hopefully develop customers that will come back. So how are we feeling about the interior art, Stokes?
It is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. It's telling the story sequentially in a good way. The actual technique looks really good. The coloring looks really good. The not too much lettering. That page right to go back up. That is gorgeous with the shadows. This is a really well made comic book. You know what I'm saying? Like I would say this is like a 9 out of 10 in terms of interior art, and I would love to see more of it.
Definitely. I also think a dub for this creator is how many preview pages they've given us. We've gone through like 5+ already, getting close to 10. I think you definitely want to be giving a lot of campaign, a lot of comic to like sink your teeth into. I remember I was asking David Papose when I was making my campaign for Alpha 3, or I had just launched maybe, and I asked him to take a look at it. And he mentioned that you should have way more preview pages. And if you look at one of his campaigns, like the Oz, there's a bunch of preview pages up front for you to take a look at. So W for this creator, making sure that we have a lot of preview to take a look at and really set, we know what we're going to get. We're not going to be bamboozled by a really sick cover and then art that's not holding its own in comparison.
Could you imagine making a campaign without interior art?
No, honestly, I couldn't.
Crazy.
I think it's honestly a really bad idea if you were to go to Kickstarter or Crowdfunder or anything without actually having your product to show. I don't know if David has any feelings about that.
I do.
And I'll let you get in on this, but it's definitely not the move. And I'd suggest everyone at least invest a little bit in your idea. It's good to show customers that you believe in yourself enough to pay for yourself. So, and believe in your project. So I definitely think that if you're going to go to Kickstarter or any crowdfunding site, make sure you have at least some art that you've brought to the table. It's like, because also, how do we even know if you're able to tell a story sequentially if you don't even know if you have, because you haven't shown us any art or paid for it. So definitely do that. So David, I want you to get in on here and let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. The whole concept of crowdfunding is a promise, right? They're essentially making a donation to you in the hope that at some point you'll send them a reward that will be worthwhile, right? And so the more that you can convey to them that what you're doing is real, right? That and show them the quality of it, and give them more confidence that this promise is going to be fulfilled and it's going to look amazing, the more likely they are that people are going to want to contribute to support you to get the project completed.
Definitely. So let's take a quick look at the rewards, and then we'll give like a final overall score for The Last Herald. We can see they've got a digital bundle, some prints, multiple prints, variant covers, a world map, which is really cool. I know my boy JL Johnson also did and he in his book Aeneid, he also has world maps and things like that. He has a really awesome book. Yeah, he's great, awesome guy, awesome creator. And hopefully we'll have him on the show one day soon. But yeah, we're seeing there's a lot of this is a really unique one, a little miniature figurine and metal covers and add-ons and the like. I definitely think they're hitting a lot of different rewards, and you want to have a bunch of things for people to spend money on. So I definitely think that's a W for this creator. Stokes, how are you feeling about these rewards?
I think it's shocking they don't have Project We
I-
Love.
Oh yeah. No, it looks great, man.
Shocking they don't have a Project We Love, and I'm honestly shocked that they don't have more backers based on the artwork, based on the type premise, based on the rewards. The rewards are reasonably priced. It's got that variation you want. This is actually from our boy Odyssey, so I'll be back in this campaign pretty soon here because it's a great looking campaign.
Right, definitely a great looking book.
If I may. So
Yep.
there's all that work down there at the bottom to show the different rewards tiers.
Right.
So that's work. That's extra work that that you have to do in this particular platform that you would not have to do in a different platform, such as Crowdfunder, because you can actually put the rewards right in the images of the rewards right in the rewards themselves, in that right column, so you can see when you're looking at the, like, now I've got to match up with the standard variant bundle I see on the left. Where is that on the right? Versus it all just being right there, putting that image right in the reward itself, so people can take a look at it as the reward is right there, with pricing and everything. So that's a lot of extra work that this campaign and other campaigns has to do, that you wouldn't have to do were you to use a different platform, say Crowdfunder, for example.
That's huge. That's definitely dub for Crowdfunder. These graphics take a lot of work and are one of the last things that you can actually do, since you have to wait for all of your rewards to be finished to actually make them. So to hear that there is a way to bypass that and make it easy is definitely a huge win for Crowdfunder, and it's definitely adds to the fact that it's super creator friendly.
Scroll back up.
Or am I scrolling to?
Just scroll all the way up. Yeah, that was me. Yeah. We support creators around here. Yeah. Shouts out to Odyssey.
Shouts out. I'll
There
definitely
you go.
be backing, just not live, so people can dox me. We're gonna move on to the next campaign, though. Thanks for submitting. Hopefully we can get you a little boost. Next, we're gonna be looking at a campaign that actually hasn't launched yet. So just right off the bat, David, does Crowdfunder have a way for you to share your campaign without going live? I know you have your page that is up and won't be like interactable, or you can't buy anything until you hit live. But is there a step in between having that page up and the actual creation process that Kickstarter offers, like here, where you can sort of see what the campaign is going to look like before actually launching it to the public?
So no, we don't have like we don't have, I guess we have this. What we don't have is the other thing that Kickstarter does, which is just that, that kind of holding thing that you guys showed about your campaigns earlier. But this looks more like what we have, where you can pretty much see what the campaign is, even though it has not gone live.
Correct. Yeah, it's basically just a pre-launch.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like a sneak peek to see. But good to hear. Stokes, how are we feeling straight off the bat? How do we feel about this banner image?
I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm not gonna say I don't fuck with it, but it's clipped. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's clipped, where the other one was clipped, but we can kind of tell, like it was more or less like not. But this is like very obviously you took a cover, which is like double the size of a normal banner, and then you cut that in half. So that's kind of my first impression. I would say that I would try to get an original banner made if possible, especially with a goal like 6K. I would, you know what I'm saying? So if that flunt, you're going to get that's a lot of revenue, until Kickstarter takes its 10%, shipping, all that stuff. Yeah. But generally speaking, I would want a better banner.
Okay, for sure. I definitely so this campaign is coming from John. So thanks for submitting, John. And this is in still hasn't launched completely yet, so definitely things to potentially take into account. I have also am a fan of using custom images for your banner. Because you not everything, not your art just not necessarily going to be able to fit into this sort of box, but sometimes it can. My Saturn Effect Alpha 4 campaign, the campaign image is actually just the Alpha 4 turned to the side, and it worked out perfectly. So sometimes it works out, but generally I think it's a worthwhile investment to invest in a banner that will catch eyes as you're scrolling through. I like their images. I like the rising eagle sort of section breaks or section headers that keeps it looking nice and professional and clean as we get into these preview pages. We'll see how many they have. Stokes, straight off the bat, how are you feeling about these preview pages?
Give me 1 second. Fantastic. I like the colors. Without more don't move anymore. Stop the mouse. Just stop the mouse.
All right, relax.
You keep moving the mouse.
Yo, Luigi, chill out, buddy.
Stop the
mouse.
Down.
Okay. Calm down.
I'm trying to look at it. You can see. I like the coloring here. It's like very very subtle shifts in color. Like you can look at his jacket. It looks like yellow, kind of orange. Guy's different. You can look at it. His face. It's got multiple tones in there. So the coloring is really good here. Very subtle. The lettering. There's room to breathe. Which I hate like over lettered comic book. So looks like there's good pacing. Can you scroll through some more?
Yeah, of course.
It's also
this might be the best page ever. The other shit might be rack. No, this is very good. You got the action, you got the contrast here. This is some fantastic interior art. This is very good.
Right. It looks like I'm curious if these are from the same book. I would say maybe make it a little more clear exactly where like which books these pages are coming from. Looks like there may be multiple titles that are being crowdfunded at once, which is totally okay. But yes, Stokes, let's get down to the rewards and see. It looks like there isn't a separate rewards tab, which is fine. We can just look at the rewards here on the side. How are we feeling?
Graphic.
Yeah, the graphics definitely help. Definitely help out.
We need the graphic Kickstarter. We need.
Yeah, right. So, Stokes, how do you feel about the pricing on the side? We see that we have a $5 for a digital copy, which seems pretty standard. $20 for a physical and a digital. How are you feeling about these pricings?
Like I said, I would like a reward kind of graphic to take a look. And then I think this is a little bit. Yeah, I don't like the reward range here. Like, so if we look past the first reward, which is $5, which is standard for a digital comic, it's 20, 35, 50, basically 125. So you're not offering a really wide range. Like if I scroll down again. So let's say I had $90 to give you, or even 100. I kind of got to pick between, unless I know how to do bonus, which not a lot of people know how to do the bonus, frankly. I'm kind of stuck between 75 or going up to 150, and it's a easier jump. It's easier to roll back to the 75 than the 150. So they might be pricing themselves out of certain things, and then the 150 isn't that high to me for a goal with 6,000. And then also a shot glass doesn't seem to fit the theme. If it was a comic set in a bar or something like that, that would make more sense. And it's fine that it's not on theme, by the way, but I'm concerned about the packaging. Mm-hmm. What if I just want a physical comic book? You know what I'm saying? Like, what I would start there.
Just to build on that, I'd also say with t-shirts is also kind of a pain to send as well. And you see that there's t-shirts in some of these tiers. So it's just something to keep in mind. They're definitely going to affect your shipping a lot, and if you're not wary of it, it can definitely sort of dip really hard into any profits that you make. Um,
So
David, if you have anything to add.
so again, this is, building on what Stokes was saying, this is one of those situations where it's because you can only choose, because the supporter, the backer, can only choose one tier. They're kind of locked in, right? And so if I want, one of the things or two of the things from one tier and then a third thing from another tier, but I don't want that whole other tier, I'm kind of stuck. I've got $100, but I don't have the ability to pick the things that I want to make up that $100. And that's one of the things that would be a lot easier to do in Crowdfunder, because you just set up all of the items and they put as many of whichever ones they want in their cart. And if you do want to do t-shirts with Crowdfunder, there are variants. And so you can put in small, medium, large, extra large, and they can just pick their t-shirt size. With this, you've got to do surveys. You've got to do like a whole bunch of other things on top of it that make it more complicated for you to actually fulfill on what it is that people are picking here. As far as the items that they're that they're putting in there, I mean, it looks great. It's just the forcing people into these bundles is something that I really struggle with, versus just giving them the ability to select what they want.
Definitely. So I think overall, definitely try and take John, if you're listening, definitely see if you can maybe implement some of these changes, like finding a way to show us these graphics, because unfortunately Kickstarter does not give us an easy way like Crowdfunder does to see these graphics, to maybe give us a visual so that we can take a look at exactly what are in these bundles and potentially have different levels with varying bundle amounts. Stokes, if you want to hop in and anything else.
I think one more thing is if you scroll down just a little bit so we can see his profile. So right there, John, like 3 created and 6 back is a number that's concerning for me. Not there's the angle of like, oh, you're not supporting the community, blah blah. I don't really take that stance personally. Like, because you can have an alternate profile, like who knows. You could be who knows, we don't know what people are doing off Kickstarter, and Kickstarter is not great for a community, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the 6 back, and if we're taking this at fixed value, that means that you've only, for every campaign you've created, you've only backed 2. When you back a lot of campaigns, you understand how campaigns are run, you understand how to communicate with customers, you understand packaging, because you get you get such a great perspective. When I'm seeing 6, and no disrespect to John, but that might also reflect in some of the decisions that he's made. Assuming this goes up as is, this might reflect some of the decisions he's made that I personally don't agree with. In that with the low backing count.
For sure. I don't think it's mandatory that you need to back other people's campaigns as well, but I think that if you're in the community and you're running campaigns and you're networking with other people and making sure that you're connecting with these creators that are also running on the campaign or on the platform, so that you can get your work out to each other and to each other's audiences, you're going to be wanting to probably back a couple of them, not even just because you have to, because you're going to like some of them, right? There's so many campaigns going on that people making really awesome stuff that you should definitely be able to find at least a few projects that you're like, let me toss a couple dollars, even if it's just a couple for a low digital copy, just to support and make sure that you're making those connections with people. And that's not to say you have to back the people that you connect with, but you just end up doing it. It's just something that happens. Dave, if you want to add another point to that.
Yeah, well, not to that specifically, but I don't know. I don't remember if I saw this, but there wasn't much in here about the creators themselves.
Right.
What I really like to see in campaigns is, the creators talking not just about their background and what they've made in the past or anything like that, but why they care about this particular comic. Like, what does this comic mean to them? Why is it important for them to make this comic and get it out into the world?
Definitely.
Right. So that's something that I think is always really effective in a campaign. And another thing that people like to see is what is the use of funds, right? If you show the use of funds, it gives you a really good sense of, that this campaign is well thought through, it's planned. They know how they're going to be, where the money's going to go and how they're going to be using it. And so that's something that I think is also valuable to add.
Definitely. So, John, wherever you are, if you want to take what you want, good luck on your campaign. Definitely make sure to hit us up when you go live. Before we get to the next one, which it's a doozy of a campaign, let's introduce a late addition to the stream, the man himself, the six-figure Shand. How you doing, Pat?
Hello. Why, hello. What's going on, everybody?
How you doing, man?
I'm pissed off today, you guys.
Damn.
No.
Only made 30,000 on Kickstarter. I'm making funny
No,
because
no.
no shirt.
I am having trouble wrangling artists today,
Damn.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought you were gonna say that Armin called you out on your shirt again.
No, actually, this shirt, I wore this shirt in honor of Armin. I wore this shirt at a convention on a day one, and Armin was there. And the next day he came through and he had an almost identical pineapple shirt. And he said, I thought you were going to wear yours. And I was like, bitch, why would I wear the same shirt 2 days in a row?
Oh man, Armin's not even in the chat right now, dude. That's an LX guest,
That is true.
L friend, dude. L fan. What's
right.
going on? Armin, dude, you're canceled, bro. You're done.
All right.
Homie's a Goomba now.
Lost his spot on this show, certainly.
Sheesh. But Mr. Pat Shand, you also have a campaign that has also been submitted for review, but you're Mr. Six Figure Shand. Maybe you have something that you have some knowledge to give us as we go through your campaign.
Sure.
If you want to give us your pitch for Smoke Weed See the Future.
I will. Smoke Weed See the Future is a graphic novel about a seer who discovers a strain of weed that allows normal people to see what she does, the future. They go to her for glimpses of their own future, whether for therapy, for cheating, for any number of reasons. It is a comedy, weed drama, and this is volume 2. It's in the world of Destiny, New York, which is my flagship title, which is about a world much like ours, but magic is real and commonplace.
Well said, Mr. Pat Shand. And you're doing crazy already, buddy. I mean, 3 days to go, $30,000. What has this campaign taught you? I know you've run a lot of campaigns, but you had a very informative thread a few months ago on Twitter about how each campaign has taught you something. What have you learned from Smoke Weed See the Future Volume 2?
Well, I will demonstrate it right now. Okay, so take your cursor. And put it over the green button, the longer down, more to the side.
To the side. I don't know what the hell that means, dude. Oh, you mean this?
Side?
You mean this button?
Yes. Click that. Okay.
That's crazy.
Oh shit, dude. Are you about to dox me, bro? Are you?
Chris is Oppie.
Hey, whoa, yo, no doxing me online. Yo, wait. Is there something to learn here?
Why did you do it though? Damn,
you got me.
Chris didn't know where it was. Chris isn't back no campaigns. He's like, well,
that's
over
crazy.
here.
Yo, that's
over
crazy,
here?
bro. All right. First off,
sign out.
There's still 3 days to go.
Sign out of your Kickstarter before you do anything else.
There's still 3 days to go.
So
Look, I even hit remind me just to remind me.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much. All right, yeah. So let's scroll through this bitch.
This is a beautiful add-on, Mr. Pat Shand.
All right, so I'll tell you what I do here. If a campaign is not popping off that well, I would not put the add-on cover as the first thing. If a campaign is very strong and I know that people are already going to be exploring the page, scrolling through it commonly, I'll do this. This was unlocked as our first stretch goal, and I put it up there because I know that people are largely already checking the campaign out, and I'll have it there, and just so that catches the eye of people who have already been there and are going to be wondering what this is. However, my concern is always that if it's a campaign that's underperforming and I put an image that isn't one of the main covers, that isn't available as a tier, they'll see that and they'll just be confused, So that is why, since this is a stronger campaign, why I chose to put that there rather than at the bottom.
I mean, this is some insane knowledge from Pat Shand, who actually charges people for this kind of information now. If you want to plug your little business, Pat.
Yeah,
Little
yes. I mean,
business.
don't say little business, but,
Something big over
but,
here, though.
but the business is WWWYK. It's called What's Wrong with Your Kickstarter. Already have an insane list of people who I'm helping out, including industry vets, publishers who I'm going to make public in the days to come as we officially launch. But I am slowly rolling out. I am inviting some people first to take my services on. They'll be open for everyone soon. I have a multi-layered level of choices. I have a basic. I will assess your campaign in a one email sort of full essay on what I would change, what it's missing, what I feel it does wrong. I have a back and forth option where we could kind of talk throughout the entire campaign and I'll give you feedback. I have an option where I build the campaign, and I have an option where I build the entire campaign and also coordinate with your backers throughout the life of the campaign until a month after you deliver.
I mean, wow, that seems like a very insane and a very worthwhile business. So anybody listening to this that wants Mr. Six Figures to help them become Mr. Six Figures as well, to join the Six Figure family, make sure you hit up Mr. Pat Chan. So
Is
since
this
we have
Kickstarter specific?
Good question.
What was that?
Is this Kickstarter specific?
I mean, don't make me do this, you guys. But largely,
You actually came on here, dude. You wanted to talk.
I do. No, I mean, I just like to be like, part of the team here, I'll say this. I would help anyone, but David, please don't take any offense to this. My number one advice when I talk to someone who is doing a campaign elsewhere, I always say you will have more eyes on you. And that's not even an opinion. That's a fact. You'll have more eyes on you if you launch on Kickstarter. They have an algorithm built in that has been built not only by your account, but by multiple different, just the entirety of Kickstarter. Brandon Sanderson coming to Kickstarter as a novelist grows comics. These big trading card game campaigns grow comics. The way that they have this web of an algorithm where it is Kickstarter is the one crowdfunding site, because it's been around so long, it functions as its own social media, and it is the one social media, unlike Twitter, unlike Facebook, that wants you to succeed, because they're also making money off of you. They don't need you to buy an ad to make money. So the visibility that you can get on Kickstarter, it's unrivaled. But I'll add this. I was tweeting about this recently, that I feel that Crowdfunder, Zoop, BackerKit, to an extent, they have some brand confusion over. They started as a survey site, and now they're doing this. That's brand confusion. However, the competitor sites, I want to grow over the course of years. My ideal is that in 5 years, there won't be a conversation of Kickstarter and these options. There'll be options point blank, period, where you can go anywhere. That, I think, is a beautiful and fruitful future, and I hope that we can get there. But the fact remains that when I do give advice, it's about the now. It's about how you can do best for your campaign now, and that is personally how I feel, that the best that you can do is by standing on the shoulders of people who have done this largely before and built this algorithm on Kickstarter.
I want to let David get a chance to respond here, and also while you're responding, if you'd be maybe give us your ideas of where you're going to take Crowdfunder the next 5 years.
Good question. So Pat, I think WWYC, not Crowdfunder, but can't or CC, crowdfunding campaign, just gives you more flexibility for the future, right? So if you're naming the company WWYCC, but you do what you think is best, obviously. Sure. Yeah, I know what you think is best because you just said so. But I'm not going to argue. Yeah. The notion that the most eyes are on Kickstarter is irrefutable. Like, there's no arguing that. It's absolutely clear that that's where the most eyeballs are. And I agree, Brandon Sanderson being there gets more eyeballs in there. But you ultimately end up at the mercy of that same algorithm. So for some people, it works really well, and for some people, it won't work at all. And so, I'm not saying that that people should not put things on Kickstarter. What I'm saying is that Kickstarter offers you a different value proposition, and Crowdfunder offers a different value proposition. And if you want to rely on an algorithm of somebody else's customers, then Kickstarter is a great way to build buyers. It's not necessarily the best way to build a long-term audience. And so, it's where you think you can ultimately be the most successful, but it's not an either or proposition. Like I saw your thread when you put it out, Pat, and I thought it was great. Yeah. I really did. I really appreciated it. I thought it was extremely a spot on evaluation. And so, frankly, as a platform that's only been out for now 6 months, I was really pleased, Pat, that you included us in that evaluation. So thank you. Yeah. It's to your question, Chris, where do I see us in 5 years? I would like to see us in 5 years in a place where Kickstarter is not people's default, right? Where the thinking is that there are better options, there are other options, there are options that are perhaps more flexible that can work just as well and sometimes even better. People will be able to choose what's the best model for them without feeling like they have to be in this place or that place because they have really no other option. And so I really do think that there is a great opportunity for people to do that. And I also think competition is good. I think that some of the stuff that I'm talking about now that we do differently, maybe people at Kickstarter will listen. I don't know. And they'll start doing things differently. And then, there's stuff that they do better that we can do better. For example, eyeballs, like how do we get more eyeballs in there? That's something that it comes up again and again and again. And, one of the ideas that we have, and Pat, I'd love to hear your perspective on this too, is we don't want an algorithm to be in control. We want people to be in control. And so what we want to do is we want creators to basically say what other creators they recommend. And so you can build a network around yourself of these are the creators that I recommend. And if a creator that you recommend has a campaign running, then that will show up in your campaign as a recommendation, and not some random other campaign that you don't have any control over. You don't know why it's there at the bottom of your page being recommended, because the Kickstarter is optimizing the algorithm for their revenue. They're not optimizing it for your customer, or for the people that you care about, the people that are in your circle. And so I don't have a good name for what we're going to call that yet, but the idea is that creators can recommend the creators that they think that they want their audience to see. And those are the recommendations that are going to be the ones that we're going to be showing. And that way people can build their own community within Crowdfunder, their own community of creators that they can support without, because I know that people will post updates. Hey, my friend so-and-so has a campaign. Yes. But, and which I think is great. But we want to make that a little bit more automated, because if you're not paying attention and your friend launched a campaign, but you still want to recommend them, then you can still do that.
No, that's definitely a point for Crowdfunder. That's a really awesome feature, and I think
not available yet. Something
to come, soon to come, and I think that's a really good one. Stokes, if you want to hop in real quick before we let Patchin potentially respond.
Crush my dream.
Absolutely no. Well, yeah, I'm acting as a buffer for Pat right now. No, so I watched this great I love sports. And I watched this great documentary about what's it called? Untold on Netflix, about and one. And so essentially, well, actually, it kind of applies if you watch The Last Dance by Jordan, about Jordan. Essentially, the reason why Jordans took off is that Jordans would change every year. Where you look at like Adidas or Nike, they were the same thing, but Jordans came out every year and did something different, had all kinds of different colors. And then on the opposite of that, when was it and one came out, they had the clothes, they were just doing new shit. Like Nike was so big that they couldn't mobilize. And so and one was doing things that they couldn't keep up with. And I wonder, is that the case with Kickstarter as well? Is Kickstarter too big? Is the UI, or is it too big for optimization in that sense? Are they going to be able to make these changes to these features? Also, is it even optimal? Like, because again, if you're the Pat has pretty much stated he's not leaving Kickstarter. Like, and those are the type, if those kind of creators are just going to stay no matter what, then what is the incentive to leave Kickstarter, even if you have like Crowdfunder, Zoop, kicking around? Somebody say something.
So on the too big component, we're talking about Nike and what's the other one? I don't even know the other one. What's that?
I said and
brand?
one and
And
Jordan.
one, yeah. So there comes a time in a company's progression where, and I think you guys have maybe seen this at different points, where if you go and change too much, then people who they've developed certain muscle memory habits around a platform get really pissed off. And so, yeah, you do reach a point where it becomes hard to introduce new things and to change stuff too drastically because you risk the risk of alienating your audience. And the other thing that happens is that everything has to be a lot slower because you've got to experiment a ton. Because if you make a change and that change impacts 1% or 2% of your revenue, because of however human behavior is, when you're making a larger amount of money, that ends up being a pretty significant hit. And so you've got to test and A/B test this, and then A/B test that, and A/B test this, and like just do it over and over and over again before you can actually commit to putting something out there. And that's just kind of the way things are in the technology world. So yes, for bigger companies, it is harder to shift, even if they do have an innovative mindset. And I think that the new CEO at Kickstarter does have more of an innovative mindset. And I think that he's going to introduce some new stuff, and it's going to be good stuff. I'm just speculating here, but it is a little bit harder for companies that are larger to shift quickly and to make changes.
CEO Kickstarter backed my campaign, by the way.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? He knows what the good shit is. You know what I mean?
Sure. Luigi needs to get all the W's that he can.
Oh,
so, Mr.
my
Pat
God.
Shan,
You can't let me have shit.
No, I'm kidding, man. No, that's awesome. Mr. Pat Shan, if you want to hop in real quick and retort.
Yes. Well, no, dude, it's
Not
like,
retort.
it's not
I know it's not like that.
It's just, I think that there's good nuance to this conversation too. Because just one, just to kind of go backwards in time, in response to what Stokes said about Kickstarter potentially being too big to change things. What I do want to look at is, you already all said how the new CEO, Everett, right? He does have the mindset of someone who is changing things. He has already announced a few early things. And I'll say this, as far as being too big, think of it this way. The money that comics creators, there's this perception that comics isn't seen as this profitable avenue of Kickstarter. Kickstarter doesn't see it that way. Kickstarter paid for a New York Comic Con panel. Kickstarter has a task force that is paid that includes comics creators. I was paid last week to have an interview with Kickstarter about things that I want to change. I have plans to meet the comics rep in person to discuss these things. I have been able to directly introduce people to the comics rep to help facilitate their connections there. I think that Kickstarter right now is the perfect size. I think that in the past few years, we've also seen we've seen Kickstarter implement systems that we created. We created add-ons. We used to have people manually adjust their pledges and tell us what they wanted as an add-on. Now it's on a menu, right? So I think that there are things in discussion that we've already expressed that we want, and that platforms like Crowdfunder already does well. I think that we are looking at a future where Kickstarter has pictures on the reward section. I think that there are things that Kickstarter gets wrong for years now that are silly. For example, it is a pain in the ass to copy an entire menu of add-ons. I've done, I think, 20, 24, 25 campaigns now. Every time I have a menu of add-ons, it grows per campaign. I don't take away. So what I have to create grows exponentially, and it's very annoying. I wish that I could pull from, a creator menu of add-ons and items, not a new menu every time. That is very irritating. So I think that is both an opportunity for the other competitor platforms to...
We've already solved that, Pat.
Okay. To do their own thing and to make that work, that's great. However, I also think that hearing us out, and because the truth is that there are many creators who go to Kickstarter, do it once, and think, oh, Dreambook funded piece. Not like that. The number of those are, I think, going away. I think that people are beginning to use it more and more and to go back to it. So I think that these concerns that we as returning creators have are being addressed. So that's one thing. The other thing, I want to give you props, David, because you're doing something with Crowdfunder in your response just now that Zoop is not doing, right? And I've talked to Zoop on stream. I've met the guy in person. I've even sympathized with him when there was an incident where he wasn't being looked at as kindly, and I thought that was unfair. He was in a situation where he couldn't do something without fearing legal retribution publicly, and he was still roasted for it. It wasn't fair. However, what also isn't right is looking at numbers that don't compare to Kickstarters and pretending they do. Zoop put out an article in December that made it seem as if there was no difference in experience as far as the eyes on the campaign at Zoop or on Kickstarter, which is ludicrous. Now, David, you've said up front that is not the case for Crowdfunder, and of course it's not. So you owning that, and also owning how you can personalize the campaigns and stand out in a different way rather than compete year one. It would be so strange if you could compete beat for beat year one. Kickstarter has been around for a long, long time. So the expectation that Crowdfunder would be able to match them is absolutely unrealistic. So kudos to you for not doing the Zoop thing and pretending. That was strange to me, seeing Zoop do that. I don't really understand why, because it's clearly, if you look at the platforms, you don't even have to look at their metrics. You can just compare the platforms and see how similar campaigns do, and see how even the same creators do campaign to campaign. Now, the one thing I do want to challenge you on, though, is the idea that Kickstarter's readership isn't also your readership. It's like this. At a comic shop, you can have a readership within that readership, right? If my book is at a comic shop, my readership can go there. They've been trained to go there. However, it's just difficult. It's difficult when you push outside, because people are very, very used to the way that they do things. Just like you mentioned that Kickstarter creators might get frustrated if things change on Kickstarter, so too does the customer, So it isn't exactly that isn't our readership and is Kickstarter solely. It's more that it's this intricate web of things tied together. And the truth is that as much as you can customize something on any new platform, it's always going to be a mix, and it's always going to be harder for the newer guys trying different things to get seen. But The same thing can be said about Kickstarter in the beginning. There was a time, right, where the new guy on the block for comics was Kickstarter compared to the comic shop. And now Kickstarter, in my opinion, I compare it to when the Image creators broke from superhero comics mainstream and started to do Image. It's comparable to that on that level. And I think that there is, of course, going to be future disruptors. I just don't know what the crowdfunding path looks like in the next 5 years. And I am eager to see what you do in the next 5 years. And my last point is the algorithm thing. I would just encourage you, when you think about how, you described this idea of a system where creators recommend each other's books and you have it as an automated thing. I would just say that I think both can work together. An algorithm where you have popularity, where you have newest, where you have featured campaigns, where you can essentially mimic what Kickstarter did and have trending campaigns that matched with what you're talking about, I think would be a solid recipe. Because the fact is, not all creators play ball very well. And what's attractive to me about an algorithm that doesn't involve people picking me is that I can look at it and I can see what has worked before, analyze it, and work within it to make something that beats the algorithm. So I think if you're able to do both rather than one, if that's the plan, I think that's great.
So, Pat, first of all, I don't disagree with a word that you said. Everything that you said is absolutely accurate. I absolutely appreciate the fact that that users also have a certain element of muscle memory. A lot of people in crowdfunding are there to support the creator, and they will go where that creator is, whether it is crowdfunding, whether it's in Global Comics, whether it's in their comic book store, if it's a specific creator that they're interested in. And yes, they do have a habit. They may just go to Global Comics, or they may just go to their local comic book store, or they may just go to Kickstarter. But if they want something and it's no longer available at one of those outlets, they're going to go to the other one if they really want it. But there are also people in Kickstarter who are not necessarily committed to following a specific creator, that they're there because they want to go to the comic shop and they will find something. And so totally agree with you on that. As far as the notion of marrying the recommendation engine and the algorithmic recommendation engine, in addition to the creator community notion of a recommendation engine, we already have an algorithmic recommendation engine. We just don't put it on every single campaign, but we have, and Chris, if you want to throw it up really quickly, we do have this part of our site, which actually I should back up, you can get to really easily. Clicking on comics, games, arts, music, etc. So, I'm just going to click on more, and this is going to take us to, these are the current trending campaigns. This one is a bit of a favorite of mine, if I may. It's a romance novel convention that they're crowdfunding, and they've done really well with it. But this we do have an algorithm that will show you the trending, most recent, ending soon, ended, ongoing, near me, and it's broken down by category. So that's already in there for those that are wanting to browse. We don't have a huge volume of campaigns yet. We're only 6 months old.
Right.
And so as that grows, our audience will grow and more people will be in there checking it out. And so I'm not throwing that away as like that's not important. Yeah. And I do appreciate you bringing that up, but it is important. But I also think that the human touch, being able to build a community around yourself is really important. And in fact, we've got for every campaign that we do, that's not good. Let's go to a comics campaign. So for every campaign that we have, the campaign creator in this case is an organization. It's a publisher, has their own page, and you can follow the creator or the publisher, and it will show their campaigns and all of their activity in there. So it's not as social as we want it to be, and you don't have the ability to add people to your recommendations stuff yet, but those are things that we are looking to build and looking to go for. So Pat, really, I do thank you for all those, for that feedback and those comments. I really do value it. And you're right. When you say the truth, it's right, you know?
I mean, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for your response there. I'm definitely, because I mean, I was taken aback when I saw what Zoop posted. So it's heartening to hear you speak this way, because I had heard more heat around Zoop, to be real, you know, but the fact is that there is, you know, people. I like people who fake it till they make it, not businesses. And you are not faking it till you make it. You're being real about it. I like that.
Thank you.
Definitely. Stokes, you wanted to hop in real quick.
Yeah, I got a quick question. So we're gonna do a bit of a reveal here. So I just got some new shit in here. So I'm gonna share this. Share screen window. All right, can y'all see this?
Yeah, you want me to add it?
Yeah, go ahead and add it, please. All right, we're trying to. All right, this is a little bit of a shit show. All right, so Pat, we were talking about, because we're talking about campaigns. Make sure everything there you can see. I got a new. I got a new cover drop, right?
Yes. Oh, I saw this in pencils today, right?
You saw in pencils the black and white. It was originally a black and white cover. This piece of shit computer. Absolute piece of shit.
Damn,
I was going to do,
bro. I mean, your brains just go into your downloads. I definitely wouldn't.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I was like, damn, homie's got a lot of trust in his.
All right, bro, we got some people here. You don't even see this shit. All right, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm fucking sick of this. All right, never mind.
Send it to me. I'll pull it up.
But
yeah, for sure. So, Mr. Pat Shan, let's get back to your campaign real quick. Since we have you here, my friend, why don't you tell us the highlights that you want us to check out? We saw your awesome add-on, and you gave us a little reason for why you put it up at the top. So if you want to, what is this? Was there a backer? What happened? You were talking smack before Mr. Six Figures. It's okay.
He wasn't even following my campaign, my pre-launch campaign.
Hey, don't.
He's like,
you know, I wanted to follow on stream, man. I wanted to make sure that everybody saw it happen.
Oh well,
and, you know, I had
my numbers.
What's
it
up?
says he has funded 20 campaigns, but it's not true. I had to update that.
Oh, yours right here, 22.
22 on this account. Yeah. All right. So let's scroll down.
All right, yeah. And I'll definitely be picking up a copy of this next time I see you in person, Pat Shan. So.
I appreciate you. Yeah, so I had those two add-ons up top, and now the main campaign begins here. Beautiful cover A. This is actually, I'll say this is the cover I spent the most money on ever.
Really?
Yeah, ever. And it's paid off. It's looking great there. It's performing well.
You know, it's awesome. Who is the artist on
that? This is Marguerite Sauvage.
Marguerite, beautiful work, Marguerite. What else do you want to point out to us, Mr. Pat Shand?
Are we reviewing this, or is he?
I think we're just going to let him tell us since he's here with us, and he's Mr. Six Figure Shand. Let's see what he wants to show us. You know, I think
art 0.
I do want to get feedback though. Yeah. So so far, you know, sometimes I start with more interiors, but this time I just kind of teased it out and did images here and there. Got more into the interiors here. Originally, I was not showing the lettered version because I had it already prepared with the art, but I spoke to Charlie Stickney and he was firm that lettering really helps. And I kind of go back and forth. I like to let the art speak for itself sometimes. And largely people can just see my shit online. You know, I have already posted a lot, but I decided to go full lettering here and show and flex my dialogue, you know?
Damn, flexing on it.
I think that's the right choice. Because that is the real experience, and so it's better to share the real experience.
Yeah. Only 4 pages here, Mr. Pat Shan? Did
At
you want
at
to?
first.
At
I
first,
believe
okay.
if you scroll down, there's more. Yes.
Okay.
So
All right.
yeah,
That cover is insane, bro.
This
Like
cover
I
is insane.
not
That-
trying to disrespect the other jump, but this was the one with the colors and all that. This is what I would think would be the bigger cover,
that is the bigger cover.
the more
Yeah.
expensive one.
Oh, more expensive. No, I mean this one was part of an overall deal. I locked her down for a set of covers, and yeah, this is my favorite cover we've ever produced. I think the fact is though that this month I've been getting insane artwork, some of the best stuff ever, but this is really, really up there, and it's performed very well. In fact, it was when it came in, I noted that it was so beautiful that I didn't want to make it just the variant. I wanted to price both covers the exact same because I wanted to give people the chance to enjoy both equally. And I priced the add-on a bit higher.
Spitting game right now, Pat.
Was good.
So there we go into the cover for volume 1. So you can see how that one matches that Jen St. Ange cover from volume 2. So if you get those two, it'll be a nice set.
That looks great.
Thank you very much. Thank
It's a
you.
beautiful campaign, Pat.
Yeah, and here's some more art. This is from chapter 2, which wasn't lettered yet. So we put that in there.
A little bit of both, of the lettered and non-lettered.
A little bit of both, yeah.
The black and white is so incredibly detailed. Are you going to be coloring it?
No, this is full grayscale.
Because it looks great.
Yeah, she this is very unique how she does it. She lays it out and pencils it digitally and then inks and shades it watercolor on physical paper. And on the actual paper, you can see the pulp of the areas where the watercolor soaks in. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, this is really beautiful stuff right now, Pat. I'm super jealous, honestly. We gotta. This man is 6-figure Shan. He's putting out some amazing content, working with some really awesome artists. So, this is.
Is this a spoiler for? Because I'm only on Destiny New York Volume 1. Is this a spoiler for?
It could be a flashback too.
Oh, damn.
Okay. I'm just taking notes.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So that section was mentioning that this is a spinoff. So I don't front load the fact that it's a spinoff. Like I've been told in the past that it would be a good idea to make it like Destiny New York's Smoke Weed Through the Future. But the fact is that I want to grow this series as its own organic thing. So I just mentioned about halfway through that if you want more from this character, this is the world. And that tends to bring quite a few people in to get caught up. With this one, the cost of getting caught up is 5 full 100 to 200 page volumes. So even selling a few of those is great and really helps pad this campaign out. And I was kind of sparse in how I, showed the characters' appearances throughout this here.
We got Mr. Charlie Stickney in here saying you got to hurry up and catch up, Stokes. Yeah, Stokes is slacking. Stokes is really behind.
What happened in Destiny New York Volume 3, Chris?
Do I even have Destiny New York 1? I think I only have Prison Witch, honestly.
You son of a bitch.
Mr. Patchan, your books are kind of expensive, and I am not a
kind of expensive.
Kind of expensive for a broke ass like myself. So,
well, yeah, I mean,
no, I'm kidding. No, you have very affordable stuff.
No, I do compared to single issues because what's different about this is that I'm not doing singles with this series. This and Destiny New York are full trades. I go straight to trade. So this is. It starts baseline 80 pages per volume, but we add as we go along. We add stretch goals, short stories here and there. And Destiny New York is they go up to 230 pages sometimes, which is quite a lot. But
that is
I'm
quite a
trying
lot.
to think which is here.
That's awesome. So, Mr. Pat Shan, we'll let you give some closing remarks after taking a look at your rewards. You want to have anything to say about your rewards?
Rewards, I keep it simple. I keep the price points simple. I love to produce trading cards, so there's that. And scroll back up a little bit.
Yep.
All right, right there. So the full bong load, right? I like to keep. That's like the get everything tier essentially, and I keep it affordable, and I keep it simple. I used to price to get everything tier because I would add a lot more rewards. I would price it $200 and maybe nine, eight, nine, 10 people will get it. And now I price it at $55, and generally a lot more get it. So here we had 18 on the get everything, and we had the get everything plus volume 1 down there is 24. So the amount that I make off of these, in addition to, in comparison, I should say, to what I used to make when I priced it higher, it's just better now, and it's producing fewer items. It's putting less into production costs for things like, prints and pins and blah, 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 blah. I limit it to maybe 4 to 5 merch items per reward, per campaign, that is.
Okay, awesome. So, Mr. Pat Shan, if you want to give us any closing remarks on Smoke Weed, See the Future Volume 2, this is your chance.
The time is now to back it.
Time is now.
I'm looking forward to the update that you were on our YouTube tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I should mention that, huh?
Definitely. You should definitely, and then maybe also even Intrusive Thoughts and
no, I really don't be greedy, bro.
Number 1.
Number
2.
It's greedy as hell.
No, that's David mentions the importance of community, and I agree. I don't like when someone who I've never spoken to sends me an unrelated campaign, like, this is a campaign to produce. I mean, God bless her, but this lady sent me a campaign to share in my updates that was an inflatable beach chair, and I'm like, bro, like, this is not going to hit my audience, but when one of you guys hits me up, I want to share your campaigns in my campaigns. I am going to be going live again in, I think, 2 weeks right now with my first single issue. I'm going to start every year going forward with a single issue annual, a Space Between Comics annual. This one's called Cerulean Dreams, Full Color Stories of Destiny, New York, Smoke Weed Through the Future, and Afterglow. That's going to be going live in, today's Tuesday, right?
Yep.
2 Tuesdays from now. And then after that, we got the banger of Steamy coming up. So
Steamy
stimulus package. Let's go.
Yeah, wherever you guys land on whatever campaign I have live, if you can be live during Steamy, you're gonna be eaten. Okay.
All right, you already heard it here first. We got 3 campaigns and a crowdfunder launching when Pastor Hand goes live with Steamy. We're trying to chase the bag.
When is Steamy dropping again?
Yeah, when is that dropping? March?
No, the hope is Valentine's Day.
Holy shit!
Hey,
I'm gonna be active.
Let's go. Yeah, the only
damn.
The only
When's
You're not little bro.
The only thing is this.
Yo.
The only thing is this. If I'm trying a new printer, I'm trying Canada, and apparently they're gonna get me the books end of January. And this is, I don't mean
Canada?
I don't mean to flex here, but it's a lot of rewards this time,
This is
a lot of rewards. It's a lot of rewards.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot.
Delivered by Moose.
Yeah, Cheeky was my biggest campaign of all time. We hit 103,000, and it is going to be a monster to send. But this is the first campaign I'm going to have my entire team on deck. I'm going to be paying people to help me out there and get it all sent, because I don't want to be slow. I want to be able to roll into campaign bong done deliver, campaign bong done deliver. I always have 5 to 6 active at once, and I want to deliver so fast, so I'm able to do more and more and more.
So Pat, let me ask you about that. 5 or 6 at once. How do you do that? Because from what I understood, that's restricted.
No, it's restricted for new creators, creators who are considered veterans or proven to deliver by Kickstarter. They allow you to have 6 going at once. They just can't overlap in any way as far as being live. Like, for example, right now, Smoke Weed to the Future Volume 2 is live. I cannot put my next campaign into review unless I get written approval from the comics rep, which I have gotten before.
Right.
But generally, campaign ends, you put the next one into review, and as long as you are in some phase of delivery during this, like for example, the campaigns that I have undelivered as far as physical go are Prison Witch 3, Cheeky, Destiny 6, Mixed Magical Martial Arts, and Smoke Weeds to the Future. Now, Cheeky has all sent digitally. Thousands of backers have gotten digital copies. All these campaigns have gotten their digital add-ons. Prison Witch 3 will go out digitally this month, and Mixed Magical Martial Arts 3 will go. Mixed Magical Martial Arts number 1, and probably only, will go out first week of February. So that's all digital. And then Cheeky, as soon as that delivers physically, I'll launch the sequel to that. So how I envision it is this. I'm less thinking about not launching multiple campaigns and more about making sure that if I have a series, that the next one is going to follow the physical send of the previous one. So I wouldn't launch, say, Destiny New York 7 while 6 isn't sent yet, right?
Yeah.
But I would launch a spin-off or a different series for sure.
Yeah, that's very clever.
Awesome. All right, so I know Stokes the writer, Stokes the bottom, has a cover that he wants to show us. Here you go. What do you have to say about this, Stokes?
So I got this one back from my artist. It was supposed to be black and white. If you've seen the other colors for Intrusive Thoughts issue 1, they're very colorful, they're very striking, and I wanted something that was black and white to kind of contrast. Can you show the black and white one?
Yeah. Did you send me the black and white one?
I did. And Pat had mentioned using a cover as an add-on. So this is the one, and I like that you can really see the cross hatching is really good there. My question was, I think having one of these as an add-on. My question was, does a black and white cover stand on its own enough to have as an option to sell? And then also, which one should I do as the add-on? Like, and
I mean, I'll say this. I believe that this image with colors is likely your best cover ever.
we have a mutual friend that did a cover. Are you sure?
No, I love her stuff. And that's probably the second best cover ever. But this reminds me of Jamie McKelvey, who is one of the top artists at Marvel. You know, this is simply a great and iconic cover. It's simple to understand. The lines are very clear. It sets a mood. You can see the emotion in his eyes, even though it's a single image. I think it's very evocative. And to answer the other question, yeah, for sure. A black and white cover stands 100% on its own. I could take a good cover and do something as simple as remove the logo and sell it as a different cover, you know? And like that becomes a virgin cover, you know? But funny story, be careful about using the virgin terminology on Kickstarter. I had a campaign that Black Mask did that I put together, flagged because they were thinking that a character was underage because we had a virgin cover. Absolutely insane. But this is great. I would use this as a main cover on the campaign, and I would have the black and white version as an add-on.
Okay, I wanted to ask that. It's relevant to the conversation.
Bro, I mean,
adjacent.
It's your podcast, though. You know,
It is my podcast.
wow.
Back to it.
Our podcast. Our podcast. All right, so let's get into the last few campaigns that we have, guys. Let's take a look.
Speed run through these. Ooh,
Yeah.
Ooh, they're going up. They're going up.
They're
You're
going
welcome.
up. Damn. Was that you?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, so we got Grim Space P1 Nokia, a sci-fi fairy tale one-shot comic. Definitely looks like it's playing on Pinocchio, as it says in the description. The galactic fantasy universe of Grim Space expands with this 26-page action-adventure adaptation of the fairy tale classic Pinocchio. So straight off the bat, Mr. Patchan, how do you feel about using existing IPs when you're doing your Kickstarters? and thinking of ideas?
I feel only Zenoscope should do it. No. No, I think it's smart. It's tried and true, but it's also, there are tried and true gimmicks. A gimmick that many of us use and that I've absolutely used is, sexy covers, sexy images. Tried and true also is characters who are from the public domain. I'm doing a comedy horror book that makes fun of all these trends, focusing on Cthulhu, and Pinocchio is very much in the same space here. Grimm in general, the Grimm fairy tales are sort of there's an established audience that will always be interested in subverting these stories, and I think that it has to be done the right way, in a creative way, but I have nothing against it. I think that it's smart to do. If I had a good idea for one that wasn't something that I could do with Zenoscope, I would think about it. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it.
All right, cool. So this is a campaign from Frank Martin. Already taking a look at some of these first images. Presentation already on point. I'd love to see what a comic is supposed to look like when it's printed out. Going straight into the creators as well. We see that he has a nice little elevator pitch where fans that would love to see Grimm, Supernatural, and Once Upon a Time mash up with Star Wars and Farscape will love the series. Having comparison titles is always a really good tool to really get your point across and what the book is going to be. And like David said earlier, he has his team front and center, and we can learn a little bit about them. And the images are great. Stokes, how are you feeling about this campaign so far? And we even have the funds, the fund breakdown.
Hold on. The funds thing, I do want to throw one thing in there. That I agree to an extent, but there comes a time too, like Frank here has 18 campaigns, okay? So that means that he's essentially running a business on Kickstarter. The fact is that if I were to do one of these, there would be a huge chunk that would say 4 other projects, and people don't really want to see that. So it's kind of hard to be super honest about this kind of thing unless you aren't printing overstock. And you kind of have to be profitable. So it's kind of hard to break this down in a way that's going to seem right when you're doing it as much as someone like me or hopefully you guys are,
No, I mean, that's great insight, Pat. Taking a look at the preview pages now, how are you guys feeling about these preview pages and just the art in general?
Looks fantastic. The colors are great. Looks unique. This is it's phenomenal.
Yeah, the interior art when you see it close is 10 times better than I pictured it from the small images up top.
Right.
We saw the approximation of what it would look like in comics, and I thought it looked cool. But here you get to see a lot more details of the art, so it's good that this wasn't too far down in the campaign.
Right, and we get down to the reward section. We know, David, we wouldn't have even had to make this section if we were on Crowdfunder.
I wasn't going to say it again.
Oh shit! You get an iPad for $10?
Oh shit! Do you get an iPad? No, you don't get an iPad. I think you just. But it would be nice if we got $10 iPads. How are we feeling about the rewards, everybody? I see a lot of awesome bundles and different variations on those bundles. How does that make you feel, David? Seeing these like different variations on single or 2-item bundles. How do you feel about that in comparison to what you guys offer on Crowdfunder?
You end up with a whole lot of rewards where you could just put 3 items and then people can select, their own combination, instead of having, 10 different rewards. If you've got 3-4 items, then people could just create their own combination. Pat, I was mentioning earlier how Crowdfunder works more like a cart than it does a single bundle, a single tier. You have to pick a single tier. Crowdfunder, you can just put whatever you want that's available into your cart.
Could I put it where, because now I'm thinking about how I do my rewards, and I take a certain amount off if you get everything. Can you? is there a function where you can give a discount if they hit a certain number of items or a certain price?
No, that's a cool suggestion. So let me think about that.
Cool.
Well, that's a great suggestion, Patch, and actually very, very, very. I hopefully Crowdfunder implements something like that because it's super smart and that's one of the incentives of those bundles. Obviously, is to give those lower prices and upsell people, all the way up to your for this campaign a $525 reward. So Grimspace Pinocchio. Sorry, Patch, we just got to get through. Oh, we got another backer. Damn.
That was me.
Yeah.
That was me. That was yours truly.
Let's go.
So I love that they update it like that. In Crowdfunder, when somebody pledges, there's a little tile that comes up for like 4 or 5 seconds that says who it is, what they got, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, nice.
It's like just a fun little interactive thing.
That's definitely a good idea. It would be cool to see either of these platforms implement something that was even more like, dopamine driven, something that that makes not just me, because as a creator, we like throw these up and then we're refreshing constantly, right? And just to get that dopamine hit of somebody else backing and seeing those numbers roll up, it would be cool if there was a way to sort of shuffle that yearning of wanting to see that number go up to more backers and potentially having that drive them into adding a little bit more onto the campaign, or really driving them to be like, yeah, I really need to get somebody else to back this so that I can get a little bit more of that. It's just something to think about. I've also done a little social media startup stuff, so I'm always thinking about algorithms and ways to sort of optimize and get as many people to see something and use something as possible. So just something to keep it to think about. Maybe let's move over to Thoughtscape, and this is
Chris.
Go ahead.
This is unreal. I mean, it's kind of so we have an overlay that you can use in a stream. So if you're streaming live and you're talking about your campaign, you can add an overlay into the stream and it will show every time that someone pledges a campaign in your stream. Okay,
that's definitely along the lines. I think that's a really awesome addition. Having those interactive things is super cool. So we're going to take a look at Thoughtscape numbers 1 through 3, and I believe this may have been a campaign that was on a competitor to Kickstarter before this, if I remember correctly. This is by Matt Lowry. And it's issues 1, 2, and 3 of a new sci-fi anthology comic book series in the tradition of 2000 AD, Black Mirror, and the Twilight Zone. Starting off with those comparison titles are super awesome. How are you guys feeling about the presentation of this campaign so far?
Can you go back to the thumbnail?
Yes. I think this is a thumb.
Looks good.
I don't know. It's interesting because here's the thing. It communicates that there's going to be multiple stories in here. The problem is that we're seeing it large. When you're on your phone, the thumbnail is small, and having 3 separate images in a small thumbnail, it's a little rough.
Definitely. Definitely good advice. Can definitely think about like what those thumbnails are looking like on a smaller device or when they're shrunk down. Something that we have to think about when we're doing YouTube thumbnails as well, because sometimes they'll look nice and then look not as good when you blow them up. So just getting through this, has a lot of preview pages, a lot of art that we're seeing straight off the bat. How are we feeling about the art, Stokes?
I'm looking at it. It's different art styles. I like this one. The one I like that one a lot. The one previously I'm not crazy for. Not really my style. Looks kind of basic, especially
it's more
relative
cartoony,
to
right?
More cartoony.
A little more cartoony.
Yeah, relative to the the image we have on right now. Can you keep scrolling?
Yeah. So this is getting into I think the previous issues as well.
No, this looks fantastic.
Yeah, lots of great artists on here for sure.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, and I like how he's separating it and making sure this is a campaign for all three, not necessarily just issue 3. So, I mean, which is definitely smart if you're coming back to Kickstarter after having a hiatus on something like Zoop or a Crowdfunder. Now this is super cool. We have a little bit about the creative team,
Nice.
a bunch of testimonial. How do you guys feel about adding testimonial to your campaigns from people? How does that? Hey, look, we got David here. We mentioned him earlier.
I don't think it hurts. I don't think it's a huge needle mover,
Right.
as well.
Yeah, there's a huge focus on it. In fact, David was someone who I spoke to recently. Well, not recently, when he was launching his campaigns, about how it's good to use like 1 or 2 of these and pull back on the rest, and seeing him implement that and have a great campaign with a really clean page was good. I think that there comes a time where it starts to look like a wall of text and people skim past that kind of stuff. I don't think that people are really looking for that as backers, especially from creators who are essentially on the level of the campaign's creator. If I had a quote from Stephen King, yeah, I would put that. I'll make it into a huge graphic. I would have.
I'll call him and ask him for one for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll make it into a huge graphic. I wouldn't even call the title Stephen King likes this, but having it just a wall of text of people saying that the campaign is good, I don't think that's a great idea. But I understand it's a mainstream idea. When you publish with mainstream publishers. When I do Black Mass Comics, Matt Pizzolo hammers into me, get quotes. The mainstream news cycle likes that. Fact is, that's true, but the mainstream news cycle doesn't fuck with Kickstarter and doesn't really see this kind of stuff as worth reporting on. My shit doesn't even get reported on, and I've been launching on Kickstarter for years and am an active DM creator. The mainstream comic sites just don't see Kickstarter projects or crowdfunding projects as worth reporting on. And this kind of thing works for them a bit less, I think, for the Kickstarter consumer.
No, that's definitely really good insight, Pat. And something to keep in mind, there's a difference between the direct market and crowdfunding. I actually had somebody on Reddit, I posted a few things on Reddit just for promotional sake. And somebody was asking me about if he thought self-publishing or crowdfunding hurt your chances with publishers or made your book look undesirable. And I think there's definitely actually a symbiotic effect that can be found between Kickstarter and direct market stuff. So just looking at these tiers, I'm honestly really enjoying how he breaks these down. Obviously custom graphics, super unique, and maybe we don't get to see the images right here, but it's a nice way to visually show what people are getting. But yeah, this is a really awesome campaign, Matt. I'm really looking forward to getting my copies of Thoughtscape numbers 2, 3, and yeah, that's it. And because I think I might already have one. And we're gonna move on quickly to Area 51 from our boy, the Helix Project, from Trevor, who was here last week, getting into some beef. And if you haven't watched that episode, I know, right? If you haven't watched that episode, make sure to check our previous lives, look at the beef episode, and you'll definitely see Trevor in there talking a little schmack, and I think it's a good thing to have creators that are confident in themselves and willing to be confident and say what's on their mind. Yes. So definitely everyone that's watching right now, if you're not, like, subscribe, and then head back to that previous video once we're done to check out that last episode and see what Trevor had to say for the ops. Patch Jan was also on that episode. So was Armin, and so was Special Agent Julio. So definitely a great episode to go watch. And if you're a fan of drama, that is the one for you. So back to Area 51, the Helix Project. This is actually Number 6. So Trevor's been on this platform for a while. Pat, how do you feel about, or what advice would you give to somebody that was about to launch their 6th campaign for a single title? If you have any words of wisdom for Trevor.
I do. It also, I mean, what I would say depends on, is this the 6th campaign that's just this title, or has Trevor launched multiple different titles?
I believe this is number 6 of the Helix project.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you get past 3, 4, 5, 6, you're entering into the phase of the title's life where you have to actively reinvigorate the audience. The fact is that you have people who will have been on since number 1 who are going to always be interested in the next one, always want to stay on and get caught up. However, there are people also who will drop it, who will be deceased. I mean, it's true.
Damn.
I've had backers die, RIP. But things change. Things change over time, and you have to always make sure that as you go along, especially if you're doing one title, you have to give new backers such greater incentive every time to dive in. Bundle tiers are great. However, a great bit of advice I got also from Charlie Stickney, who's in the chat, was that, I launched Destiny New York Volume 6 in September. Now, I think that I offer a great deal on my catch-up tiers. However, that is a huge box of comics, and it is over $100. So what I do also now, on Charlie's advice, which from now on, this is the last time I credit Charlie. From now on, I'm taking my advice. Make a tier for just Volume 1. Give people an entry level. There should be a Area 51, the Helix Project number 1 only tier here as well. I think that would be a good way to have someone be able to try it and honestly sort of pussyfoot about it, and just dip in, because you're going to want to, give people that easy route in beyond just catch-up tiers. Oh my God.
Definitely. Yeah. You're seeing a lot. The tiers are already a lot. So definitely some good advice from Pat Chan, because you definitely will be seeing, I mean, one of the benefits of doing multiple campaigns and from the same series and things like that is you get to have these really big reward tiers that have, a substance that people would want to back. But I agree. How many people are going to have coming in and wanting to drop $80, $100 on you? So it's definitely good to have that entry point. Charlie Stigney, hopefully we'll have him on the podcast soon.
We'll have him on.
We'll definitely have him on. No offense to you, Pat Chan, but when I was building my Control Z campaign, I had Galarian number 1 and 2 open the entire time.
Well, here's the thing. You should, I have Galarian 1 and 2 open when I build my single issue campaigns. But when you do a trade, there's no one better to have open than your boy. But scroll down though.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing we were just talking about this before. Scroll down further. Right.
There.
No, more. Sorry. Here. That's OD. That's too much. That I as a quick scroller, I was like, oh, David's involved? That's just a quote. And the quote is the smallest part of the image. I would totally get rid of that. That's OD for sure.
I think that's good advice. Or maybe somehow switch up the graphic to make the testimonial a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I would not have it at all.
I mean, Trevor, Mr. Pat Chan charges a lot of money for these kind of consultations. So, but the art looks absolutely fantastic. Stokes, how do you feel about what you're seeing from our boy Trevor?
I don't know if it's zoomed in. I don't like. Okay, Trevor's the homie. I don't like this spread. I don't like the splash because it's just harder to see, and it's harder to get a lot of details. Me personally, like it's I don't have my glasses on because they reflect and it's not good for the stream. but I really like the single issues where we can really look at the details. I can tell the art is great, but what about the lettering? It's just hard to look like. I think this could be like a less is more. I think that's the consistency for Trevor's campaign. I think goes to what Pat's saying. He's six issues in, so he's got a lot of material. But I would be a little bit intimidated by the sheer amount. Like,
right. So, David, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, Trevor has been obviously on this platform for a long time. What would you say to Trevor about, if he was to launch Helix #7 and he was looking for a place to take it? What would be the first, maybe one or two things you'd say to him to be like, hey, come to Crowdfunder and test out our site and our platform?
Yeah. So, the first thing I would say is, is he seeing diminishing returns on his campaigns, or the opposite? If it's going the other direction, then don't stop. Keep doing what you're doing, and everything's going great. If you are, then the one thing that I would say is make sure that you can get your contacts out of your backer report before that backer report disappears, because those customers are not yours unless you pull their information and have a way to communicate with them. And then bring all your contacts into Crowdfunder and shoot it out from there, and encourage people to share, see where it goes. The benefits may be, again, if you're seeing diminishing returns, is reduction in cost, flexibility, and rewards. Pat was saying, put up a tier one, just a reward for just issue #1, right? Well, you don't have to have a tier for that. You can just have each issue, and people can pick the issue that, if they want to try 1 and 2, they can just try 1 and 2. They don't have to, you don't have to complicate things with additional tiers. So the additional flexibility that you get could be really useful. But if every single campaign is growing and accelerating, then you're reaching Pat Sham territory. Don't stop. Keep going with what works for you.
For sure. All right. So our boy has some shirts, some pins. I guess this is also a pin. Interesting graphics. So he's got a lot of different rewards. And then he's even got some creative sections, which we also love to see. Some really, and we definitely get to learn a lot about them, and we even get to see who he's printing with. So, yeah. Trevor, your campaign looks solid so far, but maybe there's some ways to take it to that next level. And everybody, make sure you follow Trevor's next project, Area 51, the Helix projects #1 through 6. And what's
one more thing.
Yep.
The logo bottom left with the text. That's one thing that Kickstarter always says not to do, because that's small here. Imagine that on mobile, just
right.
Text in the thumbnail overall is largely discouraged by Kickstarter, and with this being, almost all text, I would reassess there for sure. And I would take that note to the full campaign. Text out of here, and then I would remove 60% of the text that follows as well. I think that the more simple that you can make the campaign, the more evocative. Every section I think could be really, really clipped down here.
Yeah, no, that's great advice, Pat. So now we will take our look at our final campaign. And
real quick,
yeah,
does this motherfucker have a project we love before launch?
Hey, oh,
what the fuck?
Yo. How's that happen?
I have no idea.
Dr. Oriana.
Damn, Oriana. Damn. Hooking it up. So our last campaign is actually on another competing platform, Indiegogo. So it would be cool to get your guys' initial reactions to this platform in comparison to Kickstarter, and then David, for you in comparison to Crowdfunder. Stokes, how do you feel about Indiegogo?
Well, I didn't scroll. Well, it's ops territory. If you know. I'll say the pre-launch looks better than Kickstarter's, because they have a video we can play. They have the sign up. I don't like that it doesn't show the number. Maybe it's a vanity thing. I guess it's arbitrary that they show the number, but I liked anything. It's just more. It's just enough. It's truthfully a taste. We talked about how Crowdfunder will show the entire campaign. I feel like this is a good middle ground, like between Kickstarter showing like nothing, Crowdfunder showing essentially everything. I feel like this is a good mix.
Pat, do you have anything to add to that?
You know, as far as pre-launch goes, I do like that it's simple. I think that you drum up hype for what's to come. You know, I like that I can reveal the rewards and the covers myself on social before I launch. That it all goes back to a very simple interface where you have a project image and a follow button. I think that is a lot, because it's like this. You know, you show someone what the party's like after they already paid the entry fee. You know, I don't think that they should. I mean, this Indiegogo thing is just, it's too much. I would say what it shows right now is fine, but when you scroll down and there's more images and stuff, it's just too much. It's too much before launch.
Fair. David, do you have anything to add? You wouldn't disagree, or you would disagree?
I wouldn't disagree. I think a video would be perfect. Like I think just a video in a like just right here, I would agree. Yeah. That's perfect.
David, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so we do have something in the pipeline where we are going to allow people to decide how much they want to show and not show, right? So you can turn on and off whatever elements in the pre-launch thing that you want. So if you don't want to show rewards, you turn that off. You don't want to show the full story, you can turn that off. You know, and sort of decide which elements you want in your own pre-launch and give people the power to decide what they think works best for them. And ultimately, over time, you know, people will learn what works either for their audience or we will be able to also share stats behind the scenes from what we see on different choices that people have made on how that impacted the success of their launch itself. I mean, really, it has to do with, you know, how many subscribers you can get and what happens on day one, right? I mean, that's the key thing that you want to really monitor, and that's something that we can probably track and report on.
Definitely. So this is Jupiter #1. And the little blurb here says, seeking solace at an isolated cabin, a family vacation collides with the opening of a hole in space and time. The repercussions of violent revolution and a neighboring dimension forever change the lives of Brenda Marshfield's parents and grant her possession of powers unimagined. So this seems like a really cool sci-fi sort of superhero comic. We have a little bit of art here as well. Don't have the full campaign to look at, but just to giving us a quick idea of what's going on. So definitely check out Jupiter issue #1 coming to Indiegogo.
Is this a fan of the stream, or who is this?
Yeah, just dude posted it. This guy Jason.
Real
quick,
Jason,
Chris, we got some big news, bro. You just hit 200 pre-launch followers.
Oh shit! Did I really? Damn!
Oh,
check it out.
How did that happen? All right, I guess we'll have to pull it up. See if this actually is real. And no, L.
Hey, I have a question. What are you guys seeing? What are you guys seeing from the pre-launch subscribers? What do you see from, like, can you actually tell from all the people that subscribed how many of them have ended up pledging?
Yes.
Well,
yeah, you get a number of how many people that followed your campaign that ended up backing it, I believe.
Yes, it gives you a percentage.
But that brings in the percentage of people that hit remind me before the campaign ends. It's not just pre-launch.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That collates all that. So
sure,
it isn't just pre-launch. It's a mixture of follow the campaign for pre-launch and follow and anyone who follows it during the actual live campaign. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. Well, guys, we've been doing this for about 3 hours almost.
Whoa.
So it has definitely been a long stream. I thank all of you guys for coming. Stokes, my amazing co-host. Let's let these guys give us a little bit of closing remarks, and then we'll do a little sign off. So, David, what give us your closing remarks. Anything else that you wanna that has been unsaid about Crowdfunder that you wanna let us know? The floor is yours.
So I think I've probably said enough today, but thank you both so much for inviting me on. It was really fun to be here and get to talk to you, and thanks for asking the hard questions. And you too, Pat, I really do appreciate that. If anybody that has been watching that wants to learn a little more or get have a private conversation, talk about their specific stuff, if they want to get in touch with me, they're welcome to do that. I am on Twitter. My DMs are open, I think, on Twitter, so you can go ahead and get me there. You could also email me, david@crowdfunder.com, and I am happy to talk to anybody who's interested in learning more.
Awesome. And Mr. Pat Shand, closing remarks.
Thanks for having me on. I do look forward to the future of the crowdfunding sphere. I want to see how it goes. I think the competition is healthy. Again, I want to say kudos for keeping it real. I remain surprised by how the other competition is kind of not being real. But yeah, man, I think it was a good stream, informative. I like this bit at the end, scrolling through the Kickstarters. I think that's good, because I'm already doing that. Just I'll tell you this: when your creators launch, I'm looking to poach your artists, okay? And you can find my campaign currently live at tinyurl.com/420comics2. That is Smoke Weed See the Future 2. We are live until Friday at, I believe, 10 p.m. Eastern.
We got the links in the description.
Let's go.
Right, Stokes, you got any closing remarks for the Super Comic Book fam?
Nah, man, just hit notify me on launch. Intrusive thoughts, man. Let's make it happen. Let's make it pop.
Yeah, coming out very soon, man. I'm super excited. It would be nice to maybe we'll do a launch party or something. Just to celebrate the release of Intrusive Thoughts. Everybody, Super Comic Books fam, thank you for joining us on this Tuesday night. We really appreciate it. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. And make sure to tune in next week, not even just here on Kickstarter, to see Control Z numbers 1 and 2. Finally, you can cop some just absolute gas. It's just the best. It's just so good. I mean, Smoke Weed See the Future is is cool, but Control Z, are you following Control Z?
Blasphemous.
All right,
Blasphemy.
No, I'm kidding. Mr. Pat Shand, David, Stokes, Super Comic Books fam, we're out.